We be live!
Hello. Happy
Hello.
Pride, everyone.
Happy
It's Pride
Pride!
weekend. Last weekend of
Yeah.
June, Pride weekend, or that's when it's celebrated in most major American cities. I can explain the history if anyone's interested. But, anyways, happy Pride.
Happy Pride, guys.
I'm excited to be here with my
Yes.
AR family.
Susie's freezing a lot today, but that's okay
Oh,
because her
no.
audio quality is it's okay. Your audio quality is that you that's the mic you selected? Is that can you
All
click
right.
on? Yeah, yes. All right. Hi everyone. Let me make sure on my phone that everything is okay too. Yes, perfect. Everything
Ooh, we
fine.
have Secular
Guys,
Rarity joining us. Yay, Selva, Shikha, Suha. Hello, Suha. I missed you. Gasian. Oh, so cute. And people are already telling us what countries they're watching from. Guys, put your country, if it's safe for you, in the live chat and we can give you a shout out. Sorry, Armin, I interrupted you.
no, that's good. Please do. Like, yeah, exactly. Because I always mention the countries. You're doing it. Yeah, look, Druzilla from Norway,
Young
and then we
Atheist from
have
Pakistan. D is here,
yes,
everyone. D is our lovely editor. She helps us make this show what it is. Everyone say thank you, D. She's a huge help and so important to this team. We couldn't do it without her. Oh my goodness.
mm.
Prometheus is here. So cute. Casey on Facebook. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Trell's is saying, for the
Shikha
Horde!
for Shikha from India. Yeah, from Scotland. Guys, the reason why we
Mm,
highlight the
the land
countries
of my
is
people.
the pure
Scotland.
people. Oh, look. Also, Ireland is here too. Michelle or Michael from
Michael.
Ireland, and Michael, and then we have Spekilia from Sweden, John from United States. Guys, so the reason, okay, Master of Darkness from United States. So the reason why we highlight how global our audience is, and also how global our news is. Like, for example, which countries we're covering today, Susie,
The
on the
United
news?
States, Iran, Africa in general, Poland. We haven't done that in a while. The UAE and kind of the
Mhm.
Arab world, quote unquote, in general. And yeah, those are our biggest stories. And then we have some special stories at the end of the show this week that are just AR stories.
Mm-hmm. Quickly, I will just quickly tell you why we highlight how global our news is, and also how our audience. Oh, we got a super chat as well. I will highlight that as well. But the reason is that philosophy of this show is not just to cover the news, right? We our audience and our news is an excuse to get atheists to build a community for of atheists all around the world. We are trying to promote the idea of secular and atheist activism to be happening across borders and not be country specific, because we think that the threat of conservatism, dogma, religion, superstition is a global threat, and the way to fight it is also um, global. It needs to be global. A global threat needs to be dealt with globally, and we need some unity and some cooperation across borders from among atheist activists and secular activists across the globe. So by highlighting what's happening in different countries, we try to encourage people noticing that this is not a problem that is just happening in their own country, and try to promote the sense of cooperation and sympathy with each other and teamwork across borders from each other. I need to figure out how to be more concise and how I explain that, but I'm getting
No,
better
you
at
got it
it.
right the first
But
time. You repeated yourself a little bit, but you nailed it.
yeah,
We are
I repeat
stronger
myself.
together and we can learn more and be more successful when we work together.
Yes, yes. But this is important, guys. I need you guys to repeat this philosophy in places. It's not like we're just one part of this whole thing, but we need this to be repeated in other places so that
Throughout the
we
atheist
could make it
movement, throughout the secular movement.
exactly. Exactly. And so Troel just gave us a super chat. Let's read that one.
Yes, wait just a second. I want to give a few more shout outs. Therium June is saying from Iran. Hello, welcome. He said that it was his first time joining live. That's exciting. GJ from Holland. We have another viewer from Pakistan. Oh, exciting. Welcome. And
Mhm.
Yes, more people from India. Excellent. And Trells gave us a super chat. Thank you very much, Trells. Guys, this is a reminder that it is through the support of our community that we can make this show happen. But it's not only this show, it's all of the programming the Atheist Republic does. And that includes programming in Persian and Arabic and other languages, providing community for people all across the world in many different places. So anyways, please consider supporting us with a super chat or donation if you want. And if you give us a super chat, we will read it on the show today. Anyways, Trells, thank you for the super chat. He's saying, hey, Susanna, I was playing Pokemon Ultra Sun and I ran into your digital spirit sister in-game, a punk girl who says, I help keep Team Skull together. I'm like a big sister to all these numbskulls. I see where you would get the comparison. Trells, you should send me a photo of this character on Facebook. I want to see what she looks like.
Did we read GJ and Salman?
Yes.
I didn't.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
And actually, I have a little bit of a fun announcement. Wait, where did it go in the live chat? Shoot. Here we go. We have a new member of the Atheist Republic news team, the volunteer news team. And our new member, everyone, please welcome and congratulate Newman. Our Newman has officially joined the volunteer team, and he is helping me as a news curator. So going to find all the news and give me lots of options. And then I go and look through them and I'm like, ooh, this is what I want to cover this week. This is what we should talk about, blah, blah, blah. So he's helping me investigate and find good stories. And I'm so excited that he joined the team and he's already like doing such a good job. So thank you, Newman. We're really excited to have you. Okay.
I have good news. By the way, I have good news. You're only freezing for me. I'm looking at my phone. You're not freezing for anyone else. You're constantly freezing for me. So that's like the audience is not seeing that. Okay, that's good.
Good. Perfect.
Okay, good.
Secular Rarity.
All right.
Congrats, Newman. Yes. Very exciting.
Yes.
Okay.
So, is the news sad today, tragic, funny, ridiculous?
Okay, so the news today actually is mostly like either, not good, but we're going to enjoy it because we like to dunk on religion, right? It gives us an excuse to dunk on religion. So I always clap for that, right? Even if technically it's not good, whatever. We only have one story this week that's like actually like bad.
Okay, good.
So I'll take it.
So
that's actually like very good odds by our standard.
It is.
Kind of a knockout of the park because it's Pride weekend. God damn it. Okay.
Okay, so let's get started then. Can we clap for the first news?
Armin, this is big news. This is juicy. I mean, okay, let's clap for this. There's a lot to get into. This is controversial.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Okay. All right. First news.
Betrayed by diversity. Pride flags banned in the first Muslim-majority American city. 8 years after the election of the first Muslim-majority city council in Hamtramck, Michigan, a sense of betrayal arose and echoes through the city's liberal community. Former Mayor Karen Majewski expressed her disappointment, stating, quote, "There's a sense of betrayal. We supported you when you were threatened, and now our rights are being threatened, and you're the one doing the threatening." Her remarks came in response to the council's controversial decision to ban the display of pride flags on city property, a decision that coincides with Pride Month and a period of increasing threats to LGBT rights in the United States. The decision has led to a complex tension between the socially conservative Muslims and liberal residents who once celebrated the council's 2015 election as a demonstration of diversity and a rebuttal to so-called Islamophobia. Nevertheless, as these tensions rise, there's also a call for inclusion and coexistence from individuals like Gracie Cadeau, a local resident who stated, quote, We aren't in the business of excluding people from our society. And I'm not going to exclude socially conservative Muslims. They have a place at the table just like everyone else. However, they cannot and will not shove another community out of the way. End quote. So, Armin, I told you before the show started that I might need you to take over the analysis of this segment because this makes me lose my mind, and I want to be careful with what I say, and I don't know if I'm capable of that 100% quite yet. So I'm going to let you unpack this.
I mean, I am so tempted to say that we told you so. In fact, we should say that. I don't know if I should say it's a good thing to do right now because it's coming at the expense of LGBT rights. But god damn it, for 10 years, for more than 10 years, how many times we were told that we were being bigots and fear-mongering when we told everybody that this is where things are going to lead to, right? And I think this might be just the beginning. This is just like things are just gonna. What do you know? Do you know what I'm referring to, Susie? The frustration for like when we were mentioning that, guys, these are the ideas, because it wasn't about people, because we were also supporting the people, their rights, but we were warning about the influence of certain ideas that if you're not careful, in the name of tolerance, you're going to be tolerant to the very ideas that you are fighting against. And you are not seeing that. You are fighting against conservatism, and you are letting it in through the back door in the name of tolerance. Like, how easy was it to see this? How much did we try to introduce a separation between the idea of supporting people's rights and fighting xenophobia should not come at the expense of tolerating the most backward, homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, bigoted ideas on the goddamn planet. The so-called liberals that are supposed to be the guardians of the very values that have made certain countries better than others, their own countries, like, how ungrateful do you have to be that in the name of defending the values that people before you have fought for, have bled for,
that you benefit from,
that you the rights and freedoms that you are benefiting from, in the name of protecting those values, you are threatening your society to go backwards by opening the door to a Trojan horse that is Islam? I hope that you now understand. Like, I hope this doesn't get. I hope liberals wake up. I mean, they are. Many of them are, to be honest, right? But I hope they start realizing that many progressives are actually regressives, and liberals need to start a movement where they separate themselves from the people among them that in the name of liberalism, these people are not liberal. These people within their own camp, I mean, leftists, to be honest, within the left, are basically taking everything that the people before, everything that the left is good about, all the rights and all the freedoms that the people in the left have fought for so many years. Now they're going to lose everything. You have no idea the force that you're dealing with. You thought Christian conservatism was bad, which is bad, okay? Just open the door. And here's the thing. Also, I want to mention to the people on the right, the idiots on the right who also thought, like, I'm talking about right-leaning atheists, okay, who thought Christianity, even though Christianity is stupid, okay, They thought that Christianity is the force to use against Islamic conservatism. Remember how many atheists decided? We told them that they're idiots too.
Oh yeah.
So we had secular and atheist left-leaning people thinking that, hey, let's not be xenophobic. Let's open the door to Islam. You're idiots. But also right-leaning atheists, right-leaning secular people who thought, you know what? Christianity might be batshit crazy, but at least it could be a force for us to fight against Islam because, I don't know, it's Western and has a Western brand, and the threat of Islam is so big that we should use that as a way to fight against Islam. Look how united some of these people are becoming against liberalism. Because look how they are seeing allies in each other, because controlling women, fighting against LGBT is the priority for these people above their own God. Controlling what they controlling what they consider the family unit and defending traditional values. The God is just an excuse. The God and the prophet and scripture and praying, all of that, they might not even know this, but all of that is an excuse for them to be able to control all of this. So when Christians, Christian conservatives and Muslim conservatives, when they see liberalism coming for everything that they value, they will ally with each other. So watch how the Christians that you thought were going to be your allies against Islamic conservatism, look how they will join forces to protect what they call family values. The investment that we all should make has always been in liberal values, not in Christians, okay? Not in opening the door to Islam, but let's stand our ground and defend exactly the values that have made these countries better. We have so much data, and we have had a record of showing what works. We know what works. Just stand your ground and defend it. Conservatism is a threat to the planet. So, you know, this is such a big threat that people don't understand. It's now or never. We have to separate ourselves from people who don't understand how big of a threat this is. Our rights and our freedoms are not up for negotiation. These people need to be kicked out. These people.
Whoa, Armin, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Conservatism from politics, conservative values from politics, and with advocacy, with promotion of liberal ideas. I'm not talking about Muslims. In fact, to make sure that people understand that what I am not saying, okay? One way to fight Muslim conservatives is to celebrate Muslims who are being more liberal.
Yeah.
So just so that people don't have the misunderstanding that I'm saying kicking Muslims out of the country. This is their home. By kicking them out, I mean their values out of politics.
Okay.
Let's be specific. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Awesome.
Good.
Nailed it.
Good. Yes. Muslims themselves, these are American citizens. United States is their home. Their conservative ideas have to be fought against for the sake of protecting their own rights.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about it.
Yes. For their own rights. Muslims, so just to be clear, so that people understand that we're not being xenophobic, Muslims have better lives in secular liberal countries. That's why they migrate.
It's not even a question. I have so many Muslim friends where they tell me, they're like, America is one of the best countries to be a Muslim. And they've lived overseas. They've seen a thing or two. They're like, I would rather be a Muslim in this country than anywhere else.
And also, let me be clear. Supporting the idea that Muslim liberals are being liberals does not mean that we're supporting Islam. Islam itself is a right-wing ideology. It will always be a right-wing ideology, okay? But Muslim liberals are a thing. This is not a contradiction. Why? Because Christian liberals are a thing. Christianity is also not a liberal ideology. How is it possible that Christianity and Islam are right-wing ideologies, but we have liberal Muslims and liberal Christians? Easy. There are Muslims and Christians who don't take their religion as seriously, and we should encourage that. Okay? We should, and this is why the right-wing method doesn't work. Demonizing, isolating Muslims as a way to be anti-Islam never works. When you isolate, when you ostracize a group of people, you're going to make them more conservative, because they're going to go, their identity, if you don't include them in society, the way they define themselves, the way they see themselves will go back to their religious identity. And when they highlight their religious identity instead of their American identity, they will stay within the Muslim. If you see yourself first as a Muslim, the community that you will associate yourself most of the time would be the Muslim community, and you will isolate yourself because the rest of the society is not accepting you. What is that going to do? That's going to highlight religious values. Your religious identity is going to highlight more to strengthen that religious identity. You're going to emphasize your religious values, which is going to make you more conservative. So if you want Muslims and Christians to be more liberal, you have to, the liberal world needs to accept them with open arms. Not their ideas, the individuals. We are not going to be tolerant to their conservative ideas. You should not be tolerant to conservative ideas. You should be tolerant to the people that have those conservative ideas as a way to fight their conservative ideas. This is what we have been saying for 10 years, and so many people can't differentiate that. They don't understand. This is important to understand. And if you don't understand how different this is, being intolerant to their backward ideas and being tolerant to those individuals, understanding not only that's not contradictory, but they actually help each other. One of them actually accelerates the other one. If you don't understand that, this is going to be the result. This is going to be the result. And again, you might think I am like being too naive here, but look how our predictions have come true. Because a lot of people are like, oh, Armin, how could you be tolerant to people with backward ideas? Well, look how everything we have been saying for 10 years have come true. So you could either go on and pretend that we are like the bigots, that because it's easy, it's simple. Like, oh, let's be tolerant to Muslims and Islam. Okay, that's simple to understand. If you don't think about it, it's easy to just make things more simple than they actually are and feed it to people, because people don't think about these things for 5 fucking minutes before they come up with a conclusion. The xenophobic right-wing ideology is simple to understand, and the regressive ideas from the left are also easy to understand. What I'm telling you, being tolerant to people and being intolerant to backward ideas, that requires 5 minutes of thinking. But it's worth it, because they're coming for the values that protects your rights and freedom. This is not hyperbole. This is actually how countries fall. This is how your rights going away. Like, if you go back in history, countries that were amazing, where people were progressive, people were had rights and freedoms, it went like this overnight. I mean, can't you see what was happening when Trump came to power? Like, do you not see how things were changing so fast? Do you not see how in the most advanced country in the world, women don't even have the right over their bodies, their own abortion rights? Like, this, it's embarrassing. Look at your court. Like, when we're saying your rights could go away like this, your freedoms could go away like this, you might think that this is an exaggeration, but look how things can change overnight. You have to guard. Other people have bled for this. You have lost so many people. You have no idea the investment that has gone into the freedoms and rights that you have. The least you can do is protect them. Anyways, Sorry.
Oh my God, Armin, you are taking us to church today. That's how I feel right now. God. Oh my gosh. I have so much I want to say, but like you just really laid it out there. So thank you. Oh my gosh. Like, I think, oh man, I really don't know where to start when it comes to unpacking my thoughts about this. Um, oh my gosh. I think so I was laying in bed last night and I was thinking about how I wanted to talk about this news. And the thing that came to my mind is that I have a problem with like capital P progressives in the United States. Um, because and these are political terms and labels and they're imperfect. Okay, I'm using progressive as shorthand. I hope everyone understands that for a concept. I think we probably know what I'm talking about, especially if you're familiar with American politics. Anyways, my problem with capital P progressives is that they will treat minority groups as perfect noble victims. And they do this for immigrant communities, particularly immigrant communities that have any tone of like brown to their skin, right? And progressives have this bent towards like it's there's a lot behind it, but kind of like this idea that the world was so unfair to you for reasons beyond your control, so we are going to give everything to you and expect nothing, right? They codified this victimhood and put it on a pedestal and then act like they are these perfect victims in a way, and they must always be handled delicately and sensitively accordingly because they are like this perfect little like paragon of like you were so wronged by this world and now we need to fall over ourselves to serve you, right? And yes, thank you, Elliot. He's saying yes, it's a bit of bigotry of low expectations. And so I think that has over the years played into how we have treated the American Muslim community. And it came from this good place of wanting to show empathy and inclusion towards a community that was genuinely being treated horrifically like in the past 20 years in beforehand, right? Like I share that desire to want to have a kindness towards people. If anyone is familiar with the show, you know I go hard for immigrants. Like, um, and but when you treat people like these perfect little noble victims and you refuse to criticize minority communities for elements of their communities or culture or beliefs or ideologies that are toxic, that are illiberal, and you turn around and tell people who are willing to be truthful about an issue occurring in any community, even if it's one that they do not belong to themselves, and say you're hateful for pointing out that there's this thing that's occurring. It might be a little bit of a problem. You are putting the blinders on, right? And I think that this is kind of a logical conclusion of that blind spot. Like, Armin, am I making sense right now? Okay, good.
Yes.
And this is why I hate that mentality. Like, we cannot treat minority groups so paternalistically. It's very infantilizing. Just be like, oh, you're new to our country, we'll do everything for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, and just not have any real reflection or criticism and then this potentially like it's offensiveness that's not entirely warranted. Like we should defend people obviously for their rights. We should defend people to feel safe in their communities, right? Any day of the week I'll go hard for that. But that we should not defend people from criticism off top. Every community is worthy of criticism. And when this happens, because the left, quote unquote, at large, has been unwilling for our left spaces to criticize minority groups in a thoughtful and honest, authentic way. And that means that we have failed. In the name of protecting minorities, we have failed to protect the minorities within the minorities. We have failed to protect the people within these quote unquote minority groups who stand apart and who are different and express something different and dissent. We turn around to people like Armin, who is one of these people, a minority of a minority, right? And call him a bigot, and slander our good boy because he dissents. And you say something that's politically inconvenient for their ideological agendas, right? And this story is going to be a huge wake-up call for a lot of people. And so for people who are in our community, or anyone who is like-minded in terms of the values that we try to embody as an organization, as a community, and also as individuals, this is going to be a really delicate time, actually, because there are going to be like these capital P progressives and some like liberals who are kind of like wishy-washy. They don't know what's going on, right? But they're left-leaning, whatever. They're Democrats, okay, whatever. And they see this story, and this has the potential to flip them all the way to being anti-Muslim. So this is also a really important time for us to reiterate to people once again that we need to be open about criticizing these ideologies and still say, like, no, you can have your rights as an individual. Okay, I will always stand on like fighting for your rights, right? But now you're coming for my rights. And I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm not going to tolerate you coming and shoving me back in the closet and telling me that I'm dangerous to children and I'm corrupting the youth, all of a sudden. When I was there, well, I mean, not literally, I was not there. Rhetorically, to stand with you arm in arm and wholeheartedly reject when people are coming to try to exclude you from our nation, right? So I would never accept you trying to exclude me now from my own nation either. Screw that. So there are there's a lot of stuff, a lot of comments in the live chat that I want to get into. And
wait, let me just, that last line was freaking amazing, by the way. That was like, we included you in this nation, and I'm not going to let you now exclude me from my own nation. That was fantastic. That's fantastic. Coming from somebody from LGBT. That was amazing. Yeah. Okay, go on.
So one thing that, thank you, Tesla June. He's saying, bravo, Susanna. So here's one question that I want us to that I want us to talk about, because I think this is important, because I was thinking about this yesterday. And so Zaid has a comment, and Zaid is saying, tolerant when they're a weak minority. Once they have an ounce of power, they start oppressing the people who stood with them. This is a common, so Armin, this Zaid is referencing a common narrative that people have about Muslims. It's actually kind of like a meme, basically, like that when Muslims are in the minority, they cry about their rights, and then when they're in the majority, they take everyone else's right. This is a common meme. So how would you respond to someone who is saying that that's what's happening here?
All right, so this is true, but we have to be careful about how we're saying it, okay? Because when we, and again, I'm guilty of this, because when we use the words like they, we're not being specific about who we mean by they. Sometimes the good thing about having Susanna here is that also when I say something that people might perceive that I'm saying something that I'm not, Susanna is here to catch it, and she's like, "What do you mean by that?" I'm like, "Okay,
Hey,
let's
same for you,
rephrase that.
Armin. Thank God.
Yes. So, this is what Zaid is saying is technically could be true about some people, but there's 2 points to it. Be more specific about what you mean by they, so that people cannot attribute that to all Muslims, right? Because most Muslims are not even living. Most Muslims have not even read the entire Quran back to back, right? So we're talking about certain Muslims, not all Muslims, and also be careful because this is not just an Islam thing. Any group, like the reason why people attribute this to Islam mostly is because Muhammad's story was specifically that. Muhammad's story was that when he was in Mecca, he was like, "Hey, to each their own religion. You guys just please just let us have our religion. You guys have your religion." And then when he came in power, I was like, my way or chappy, right? So people are like, "Oh, because Muhammad did that, that's what Muslims do as well." But that's not technically the reason. Most groups, when they don't have power, when they're the minority, they're like more like nice, and then when they have power, they're like become a little bit more demanding. Sometimes a lot more demanding, right? So it's true about anybody who doesn't have power and then eventually has power, right? So it is true, but I just want to make sure that we don't attribute this to a Muslim characteristic alone, and also
That's
not
important.
all
Thank
Muslims.
you.
Yeah, and also not all Muslims feel like this. Okay, there are many Muslims who are becoming extremely liberal, becoming even more liberal than your average liberal. So, and sometimes even too progressive. Some of these Muslims are become. So we have, when it comes to Muslims, we have to understand that the diversity is huge, right? So there's that.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And then this kind of ties a little bit into GJ's super chat. So first of all, GJ, thank you for the $11 super chat. And so I'll read it out loud and then
Euros. How dare you?
Excuse
with your
me.
American-centric perspective, this
Exactly.
is a Europe.
I mean, this is imperialism, the hegemony. It's disgusting, disgusting shit. I love that meme. Just cursing shit.
Hey, now you're being racist. You're being racist.
No, come on. Everyone loves that meme. Sorry.
Okay. I'm kidding.
Okay. Anyways, the super chat from GJ says, "This reminds me strongly of Gert Wilder's warning about getting colonized by Islam. In Holland, we have only less than 1 million Muslims, but Holland even tolerates dual citizenship up to 3 generations." So this kind of plays into the last comment. And Gert Wilders, for those who don't know, is a very anti-Muslim, bigoted, far-right, extreme politician. And this is one thing that this news story was making me think of, Armin, is this kind of plays into narratives of like creeping Sharia. So what do you think of like people who are like, we taught you creeping Sharia, like blah, blah, blah. And how would you respond to GJ, who's explicitly referencing a far-right bigot?
Okay, so the problem with the creeping Sharia narrative is not that Sharia is not creeping, okay? Because technically, we are having conservative Islamic standards and views being more present in Western world. That is technically true. That is happening, okay? You can't deny that, okay? The problem with the creeping Sharia narrative that is coming from the right-leaning people is that they exaggerate the threat to the point that the threat is already bad, but they are exaggerating it to the point that anything short of that, people are going to be like, see, it didn't happen. Like, they are talking about the fall of Western civilization, the sky falling, Sharia law being the law of the land, crap like that, right? And if you go that far about what you are predicting will happen, then if anything short of an ISIS takeover of Europe, people were like, well, see, it's not that bad. Right? So like I mean, they're not. Yeah, so these people said it's gonna happen, that's gonna happen, and it didn't happen. So we're still good. I mean, you could literally have you know, Muslim conservatism being more present in even U.S. politics, and that having impact on, I don't know, the court system, the vote, the bills that we're going to have in the future. Some impact, any impact of that is devastating, whether it's Christianity or Islam. If we have that impacting our laws and our standards and our court system and everything, any impact is horrible. The fact that that's being that's influencing our politics. But now you're saying that, oh yeah, the death of Europe, everything, the sky is falling. So now even if we have some Islam in our politics, people are like, well, the sky didn't fall, so we're good. That's the problem I have with the right-leaning narratives that we have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. Yeah, that does. Yeah, and I just it's really important not to turn this into xenophobic stuff. Very, very, very important.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so were there any other wait, let me highlight this comment from Elliot. He's saying, yeah, the way a lot of this has been reported has been focusing on Muslims more than Islam, and I wish the journalists would make it clear that the problem is the ideology. Unfortunately,
yes,
people still really need to learn how to talk about this in a productive way, and we are all still learning.
And the solution is those Muslims themselves, right? Because guess what? These Muslims are not going anywhere. Okay, so what are you going to do? Are you going to demonize them? What's going to happen if you demonize them? They were like, oh my God, I'm not part of the society, so they're going to go be driven back to Islam. You think you could demonize people out of their conservative views? You can't. So the only solution we have to this Islamic conservatism threat is to reach out to those very Muslims. So that's not going to work if you demonize them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. You have to try to deconvert them out of the mindset that they have, and that's easy by just being friendly to them, welcoming to them, by introducing them to other ways, other things. And again, that doesn't mean that you have to do what we're doing and tell them like, oh, Islam is wrong. No, just welcoming them. Like if they're having more conversations about, I don't know, the latest TikTok trend, or I don't know, the favorite TV series, or the celebrities, or the movie that they watch, or whatever. Okay. If they're having more conversations like that and less conversations about, I don't know, memorizing the Quran or like preserving family values and all crap like that, that is progress. Progress doesn't necessarily mean just like, oh, going out and convincing them that Islam bad. All right. So if they are more being influenced by less Islamic sources, if they have more friends that are not Muslims, that will automatically do the thing. That will slowly change one generation. Because you know why? Because it's so much more fun and more rewarding to live liberal lives. So you don't even have to convince people that liberalism is good.
Yeah, that is right, baby. Yeah.
All they have to do is just be connected to people who are liberals. And you don't even have to tell them. You don't even have to convince them. They will be convinced by themselves. It's just too good. It's just too good to be liberal. Okay? No convincing needed.
Guys, just be a lib. It's okay. Yo, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Are there any more comments in the live chat that you wanted to highlight? I love this comment from Secular Rarity saying, Euros? What is that in freedom units? Cue sound of bald eagle.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I mean, I there were a lot of people who were celebrating you, so I highlighted those.
Mars thank you. Spacelia is saying that I should run for president. Okay, here's the thing. I never can, because guess what? I'm literally wearing an Allah is gay shirt right now. Okay, I think I might have just shot down my chances.
We're getting another super chat.
Oh, Sid Dave, thank you for the super chat. Saying, do you think Ilhan Omar is really a liberal? I think she is a pretend liberal using Democrat Party to gain power. White liberals need to wake up. I think she's a progressive.
Yeah, I don't think she's pretending anything. Okay. I think she's a progressive. And also she has paid such a heavy. She has paid a heavy price for being a progressive. Why would she pretend that? Like, she is getting so much hate from, like, a lot of people in the West, like, notice how much hate she is getting from right-leaning people, but you have no idea how much that is, like, right-leaning Christians, right? But she's getting a lot more hate from Muslim conservatives. Like, the amount of attacks on her for her progressive views is is mind blowing. Like, if you see, if you just look into that world. So I don't.
It's toxic.
Yeah. So no, I don't think she's pretending at all. She is. She's. I think she really actually cares about LGBT stuff, and she has sacrificed a lot for standing her ground. Again, I don't like her Islamic views. I don't like how sometimes she goes a bit too woke on her progressive values, right? I don't like the fact that she is inconsistent when it comes to calling out Israel, but not recognizing the Armenian genocide. So the double standard that exists there, I kind of call her out on that. But she is a progressive. She does care about LGBT rights, and she has stood her ground, no matter, even with all the attacks that she has gotten from both xenophobes and Muslims at the same time. She has stood her ground. So that I do believe that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, I could talk about this forever, but we went 46 minutes on this first segment, but it was worth it.
Yeah, it was.
First of all, I love bald eagle shooting an AR-15. What the fuck is a kilometer? That is the definition of being an American. Like, literally, here's the thing, guys. I am an American that, like, doesn't know what a kilometer is. I will tell you. Like, I know what it is, right? But, like, I have no mental frame of reference for, like, how much it is.
Really?
Barely. Like, barely. I'm not even kidding.
Well, that's the same thing with me and a mile, actually. I don't really, like, if you tell me, like, it's 10 miles away, I'm like, I need to know that in kilometers.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing for me. Yeah. Wait, and okay, before we move to the next news, I want to tell you a funny anecdote. Okay, so Mars, on his comment on this story was, it's about effing time. We're now seeing the consequences of listening to Ben Affleck liberals, of course, referencing the infamous Bill Maher interview with Sam Harris and Ben Affleck, where he called them racist for criticizing Islam. Okay, it's exactly because of those dumbass opinions like Ben Affleck that we end up in a situation like this. But Armin, you will never believe this. I was talking to Mars recently, and he took a pee recently next to Yair Lapid.
Oh, wow. Wait, how?
The ex-prime minister of Israel.
Oh my God.
He like went to go use the bathroom. And then he's like going in, and there was a guy in there, and his friend also came in there. And then when the second guy left, his friend came in. He was like, "Do you know who that was? You just took a pee next to our ex-prime minister." He's like, "What?" He sent me a photo of him then, and I was like, "Wait, Yair Lapid?"
That's
sorry. Okay.
Okay. All right. Can we clap for should we clap for this? This is like not clap.
Because we're gonna dunk on
okay, let's dunk on it. We're clapping for the dunking, not for the title. I'm like, it's gonna look bad though. It's okay, it's okay.
Mars is like, damn, Susanna, you had to mention that.
Oh wait, we got another super chat. Let's get the super chat before we go to the next
David
news.
the Goliath, thank you for the super chat. He's saying, when Muslims are in a minority, they vote for the party that gives them the max freedom to run a parallel society. That is the reality. I don't agree with that.
When Muslims are in a again, like, be careful with the overgeneralization. When Muslims are in a minority, you are treating a large amount of people as if they all act the same. right? If you actually look at the way that Muslims vote right now, there's actually more divide within them right now than ever before. There is a major infighting among the Western Muslim communities. There are more liberal-minded Muslims are having a civil war with more conservative-minded Muslims, so they don't act the same. There is a diversity in their mindset and behavior. Like, just look at what happened. Just look at the civil war that started over just Andrew Tate among Muslim community. Look how many Muslim women started fighting against Muslim men who were supporting Andrew Tate. So again, these people are not alike.
Also, I'm really amused by everyone in the live chat explaining to me what a kilometer is. It's hilarious. Here's the thing, guys. Like, I know, right? But in my brain, I don't have a frame of reference. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can tell you, like, this is about an inch. You know? But, like, if I was, like, to do that, I could tell you, like, this is about a foot. But if I was to do that for a meter, I don't have the same frame of reference where I could comfortably tell you it's that. Anyways, it's not important.
Okay, well, why are we talking about this? You said we have to go to the next news.
Okay, let's go to the next news.
Yeah. Okay, well, okay, there we go. Let's unstart this. All right, next news.
Next news. Muslim writer shockingly advocates for child marriage. Stirring a storm of controversy, the notorious Muslim writer, none other than Daniel Haqiqatjou, the founder of Muslim Skeptic, recently advocated for child marriage in a public lecture, asserting that marrying physically mature 9-year-old is not inherently wrong. Delivered at the An-Nur Cultural Center in New York City, Haqiqatjou's arguments characterized child marriage as a quote-unquote beautiful institution, claiming that its abolishment has indirectly led to the molestation of millions of children in American public schools. He stated, quote, that is a beautiful institution, a halal beautiful institution that every culture has had, every religion has sanctioned, has approved of. It was only abolished because they want to spread fornication. Furthermore, Haqiqatjou rebuffed allegations labeling Prophet Muhammad as let's say a PDF file for marrying Aisha at a young age, highlighting her physical maturity. His statements significantly diverge from the consensus of many scientific experts who perceive the ages of 9 to 11 as part of middle childhood and pre-adolescent stages. So, you know, Armin, this is not surprising at all if you are familiar with Daniel Haqiqatjou. And Armin is, in fact, very familiar with Daniel Haqiqatjou because he has sat next to him across from a table. And Daniel has told Armin his beliefs about this straight up to his face, which was an incredible interview if you guys haven't seen it. But if you scroll down, let's watch the clips of the video from him in the Twitter, because he actually talks about some other stuff besides the child marriage that would be interesting for us to get into.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
The first one? Okay. Let me actually let's watch it on Twitter. Hold on.
Beautiful.
Let me bring it up. If it shows up.
Part of why I wanted to cover this is because, like, we all, if you're familiar with like the online Islamic scene, you know that this is Daniel's beliefs. But for me, I don't know, something about it felt so different to see him giving this kind of a talk and presentation in public to like other parents and men. That was different for me. Anyway, so let's watch this thing. It's not very long.
In Sweden, they're taking kids. You have all of these Muslims.
It's very quiet.
Are refugees from Syria.
It's quiet?
It's very quiet.
I could find a way to... Okay, I know how to make it louder. Hold on, give me a second.
Awesome.
There's a way to make this a lot louder. But I have to stop.
Darkazine. Sus AF. Yeah, it's kind of like a really big self-report, you could say.
Not necessarily, let's be honest.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay. I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just telling the people. Okay, here, this way.
In Sweden, they're taking kids.
It's better? Is that better?
Not really.
Really? That
Mhm.
must be a lot louder. Oh, here. Oh, there we go.
Oh, well, that will do it.
In Sweden, they're taking kids. You have all of these Muslims who are refugees from Syria. They've been relocated to Sweden. If the teacher in the public school hears that, oh, the mom and dad are teaching this child that homosexuality is wrong or LGBT is wrong, this is abuse of the child. There are social services, there are child protective services there. Come and confiscate the child, take the child away. And usually they take the Muslim child and they put in him or her in custody of a gay couple. So this is what they call minor attracted person. What does that mean? It means pedophile. So these people are now also being involved in the public schools. Yeah, the guidance counselors, the staff, the principals are being replaced by people with this type of orientation. Yeah. Okay, so what's the proper counter argument to these people who want to accuse the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of some kind of misbehavior because of his marriage to Aisha, and they want to compare it to now? Okay. So there are a number of responses to this. Number one, Aisha radiallahu anha was mature.
She was 9.
She was physically mature at age 9.
She was physically mature at age 9. By the way, guys, they're not denying that Muhammad had sexual relationships with a 9-year-old. They're just saying she was physically
Also
mature
known
at
as
9.
RAP. Also known as
Oh
RAP.
my God. Yes. Holy crap. By the way, yeah, never mind.
And that's very different than people who want to molest little kids in the closet.
Very different. Oh my God.
That's not the same as marrying someone who is physically mature. As soon as
What? Oh my God. By the way, let me just, even though we know that a 9-year-old cannot be physically mature for sex, let me just also mention that there's nothing in Islam, nothing in scripture that mentions Aisha was mature. In fact, what it mentions is that at 9, she was playing with dolls. Their own scripture mentions that she was playing with dolls when she was 9.
And the companions were even asking him, isn't she too young?
Too young, yes.
Her
whole father was that.
Concerns.
Yes. Let's continue.
a girl is going through maturation and her physical body is changing, then she is ready for that type of relationship of marriage. And that's when every society encourage and sanction marriage. So you can look.
Can they find us examples of mature 9-year-olds? Like, do they have examples?
By mature, he just means a girl has had her menarche. That means they just mean that she's had her first
But that
period.
doesn't, but that doesn't mean that she's physically mature. Having your first period and being physical, and that's very rare to have that at 9. But
it is. You're correct. But by his standard, correct me if I'm wrong, that's all that physical maturity means to him.
Yes. Which is also wrong. We have Quranic verses that specifically says that you could have sex with women before they even have their period. We have a Quranic verse that specifically contradicts what Daniel is saying here. It tells,
Look at the records, the average age of marriage in Roman society. It was 13, 12 or 13. You can look at Chinese society.
By the way, that's also disgusting. 12 or 13 that they had the Romans is also disgusting. But there's 2 points when they say this. Okay, first of all, 12 and 13, as disgusting as that is very different from 9. Very different from 9. So you can see even back then the standards were like 9 was like too much. Okay, even back then. 2, Romans are not the role model for society, for people today. Your prophet is. So as disgusting as 12 and 13 is for Romans, we don't have religions that is trying to emulate the Roman way today to be like for people to do everything exactly like the Romans did, right? So, but your prophet is bringing the standards back then to now. So that's the that's the difference.
You can look at any kind of African society. It's all around that age. These kids.
It's not around. Chinese Confucianism is like 15. 15. For them, it was 15, which is, again, very different from 9.
What are they doing now? These children, or these minors, these girls, they're going through puberty at age 9. They're getting a boyfriend. They're engaging in all kinds of sexual behaviors at their schools.
That's so different from a 9-year-old to get a boyfriend. A 9-year-old to get a boyfriend that is also a minor is very different from a 50-year-old to RAPE and 9-year-old. These are completely different things.
And like, here's the thing: at American schools, like, in my personal experience, like, kids didn't start to like have like actual sexual interest until like 5th grade, like 12. But then, even then, I mean, I went to Catholic school, so it was like really, really taboo, right? But it was with people who are literally the same age as you, right? Like, not a year older, not a year younger, like the same age. But the way that I understood that sentence, he's saying that kids are doing this when they're 9. I'm like, I never heard some stuff like that. If 9-year-olds they have a boyfriend, and no, it's literally like we're on the playground. It's like, I have a crush.
They just
on
hold
Cole.
hands.
Like, Cole, like, will you be my boyfriend? Is like, yeah, I think so. And they're like, ooh, like,
they're not having intercourse. They're not having intercourse. They
don't even know what to do with themselves.
Look at the lies that he's saying to defend his disgusting prophet. Look at the lies that he's saying. Like, we know that's not happening. Show me all the 9 and 10-year-olds in school right now in the United States that are screwing each other. They're not. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, and like, literally, like, it's like, I'm playing like house right now. Will you be the mommy and I be the daddy? And it's like, yeah, okay, we're mommy and daddy now. Like, that's the level of what we're talking about, Daniel.
Yeah.
With their teachers or whatever in Zina. This is a myth.
What are you talking about? With their teachers? What is he talking about? They're engaging in all kinds of sexual behaviors at their schools.
With their teachers.
With their teachers?
So the overarching
is he talking about like
is that because we don't have child marriage, that's why we have molestation by teachers?
Yeah, so that's bad. We should arrest them. We should okay. You know what? You're right. That happens sometimes. You know what we do to them? We arrest them and put them with jail. Something that if your prophet was alive today, we would do the same to you. This is not that what society is endorsing. Are you saying that we have problems? Yes. Like, if your prophet murdered and executed innocent people, are you going to defend him by saying, like, oh, look, we have murderers in the United States today? Yeah. They're bad. What is it? What is the point that is being made here?
Is like, that's a felony, Daniel.
It's just unbelievable.
Or whatever in Zina. This is a myth. Again, an image that's, a 9-year-old is like a little toddler.
Oh my God. No, okay.
No, a 9-year-old who has gone through puberty is not a toddler. And you can go to the public schools and they're sexually active. And this is
what? Oh my God. I can't believe this narrative. I don't even know how to respond to this. By the way, why? Okay, then, Daniel, would you let 9-year-olds vote and drive and, I don't know, get a mortgage? I have to ask, like, I really want to know, would Daniel think it's okay to let 9-year-olds, I don't know, like, sign contracts and, I don't know, go to war, drive? And if they're not old enough to make these decisions, to vote, would you allow 9-year-olds to vote? And if not, then why would you let them make such decisions? I mean, it's not like Aisha had a choice, but if they're too young for that, of course they're too young for sex. But go on, Susan.
Well, okay, and here's the thing. I want to be clear. Like everyone, you can find examples of 9-year-olds being sexually active. I am positive that you can find those examples, but they're probably very rare. And I want to be clear that when you see children exhibiting that kind of behavior at a young age, it is most often the result of experiencing some form of SA in their childhood. And our brains are complicated and children become hypersexual in reaction to surviving that kind of abuse. So if you see a child exhibiting that kind of behavior, they're exhibiting that kind of behavior because this is something that's been done to them.
That's my point. But let me. When I say show me all the 9-year-olds that are having intercourse, right? I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm saying that if you show me all of them, you will see what an abnormality it is. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. You will see what a fuck. Like, I'm trying not to swear. You will see how rare and abusive and strange.
Under what circumstances it happens.
And the psychological disorder under weird circumstances. Like if you go and list all of them, first of all, you will see that your list is not that big. It's a rare thing that happens in society. And it happens under very strange and weird circumstances.
Well, I wouldn't say strange and weird. I would say like abusive, right?
Well, abusive is strange and weird to me.
I know, but I don't want someone who's a victim of that kind of thing to feel like they're being called strange and weird because they exhibited behaviors that are psychologically normal if they went through.
Your people who abused you. I'm calling them strange and weird. That's the What happened to you is strange and weird. Okay, I'm not demonizing you. I'm demonizing the people who did this to you.
Yeah. Okay. Or the behaviors that you exhibit as a result. Yeah. Yeah.
It's good to have you here, Susanna, to make sure that we're like checking up. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. See, like Susanna is like careful. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we're all right, let's continue what she is.
The reality of the modern West, because they've abolished this idea of minor marriage. They've abolished this idea that when you are puberty, your body is mature. Your body has certain desires, and those desires are fulfilled through marriage. That is a beautiful institution. Beautiful institution that every culture has had, every religion has sanctioned, has approved of. It's only abolished. Why? Because they want to spread zina. They want that 9-year-old.
Zina is like sex out of marriage, haram sex.
That 8-year-old to be, sleeping with her classmates.
So he is saying, Daniel Hagaju is claiming that the liberal world, the reason why they're not letting a 50-year-old man screw a 9-year-old, the evil liberals with their evil ways, they're trying to not let 50-year-old man being able to rape 9-year-olds because we're trying to make that 9-year-old go and have a lot of sex because he thinks that would limit the sex. He thinks like, oh no, this 50-year-old man, if he has sex with this time, because it would be through marriage, they would limit the amount of sex that this 9-year-old will have. Okay, so he's technically saving her from all the other people who would be having intercourse with it.
And what blows my mind is that these people see no difference in between a 50-year-old engaging in this kind of behavior with a 9-year-old and a 9-year-old engaging in sexual behavior with someone who's like 9 or 10. Like, because here's like teenagers have sex with each other. They're still technically children, okay? We all know this. But there's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old having sex than a 15-year-old and a 30-year-old having sex. There's a huge difference, but they act like it's the same thing. It blows my mind. Like, it's totally different if it's in your peer range. And I'm not trying to deny that just because it's within your peer range, that means that everything's 100% okay. A lot of bad stuff can still happen. I'm not delusional, right? But like, these are not the same things, you guys.
So with the Islamic mindset, okay, is that a 50-year-old man with having intercourse with a 9-year-old is beautiful because it's happening within the laws of Islam. Okay, but a
You
9-year-old,
saying that sentence just made me upset.
yeah. So as long as it's done the halal way, that's how you define good and bad. Like as long as it's right, But I don't know. But a 12-year-old having a 15-year-old boyfriend, that is disgusting. That is degeneracy. That is, wrong. That is shameful because they're not married. They're boyfriend and
Did you say a
girlfriend.
9-year-old with a 15-year-old boyfriend?
No, I said 12. I said 12 and 15.
Okay, no, I still wouldn't be okay with that, honestly.
Okay, 13 and 15. I don't know what your standards are. I think 12 and 15 is fine. But let's say 13
No,
and 15.
I'd say anyways.
They're just boyfriend and girlfriends, Susanna. They're not doing. Oh my god. Okay, you're too Puritan for me. I think 12 and 15 is fine. But
No. Anyways, let's not get hung up on that.
okay, but 14 and 15. 14 and 15. You're okay with that? Okay, let's go with 14 and 15. Okay, so 14 and 15, boyfriend girlfriend. They see that as shameful and disgusting because it's not happening. It's not the Islamic way. That is degeneracy. Okay. For the record, guys, I'm not a Puritan. I think 12 and 15. That's like 3 years difference. That's not that.
No, there's
bad.
a huge difference in cognition.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I will appeal to psychologists, expert analysis. Again, it's important to realize that these things, we cannot know what works because what makes sense to us, right? So we need to appeal to expert opinion, which is child psychologists in this case, not backward Islamic, based on the expert recognitions of people from 1400 years ago that were looking at, their scripture that written by people who had no understanding of how anything works, didn't understand how the human mind works, didn't understand how biology works, didn't understand how society works. It was basically the goat herder's guide to the galaxy, right? So neither our opinion, our common sense doesn't answer what the right result is. Their scripture obviously doesn't answer what the right solution is. We need to appeal to people who are experts in the field. But let's finish this.
At 9 years old, they're encouraging it. We talked about Valentine's Day. In fact, they want her to be a lesbian.
What?
Oh, they want her. We want. Oh yeah,
I
liberal.
want my 8-year-old to be a lesbian.
This is what is going in mind. Like, oh, please do not, a liberal father, do not let that 50-year-old man marry my 9-year-old daughter. How could she be a lesbian? Like she's intended to, she will not. He will force her to not be I want my daughter to be a lesbian, and this 50-year-old man marrying her will stop that. Our liberal plans have been. We would have. He figured us out, Susie. That was what we were trying to do. If it was only not for these Muslim conservatives who are outing us our plan and trying to get
all the children would be lesbians.
Yes. Old men, please go and do your duty and go find 9-year-olds so that the liberal world cannot turn them into lesbians. Go and do your duty. What the hell? Look how they're making the most disgusting thing possible. The disgusting thing that I could imagine. They're turning it into like saving children. They're not RAPing children. They're saving them. They're saving them from lesbianism. Unbelievable.
Anything but the lesbians.
Oh my god. It's a service they're doing. It's a service. Like next time, a Muslim man, when you are looking at your 9-year-old wife and having your way with her, just remember, like, I am doing a service to society. I am saving them from degeneracy. This 9-year-old, I am saving her. You know what the liberal world would do to her? Unbelievable.
Oh my god.
What the hell?
Oh my god.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay.
Again, as always, Islam is the solution.
Mashallah.
Is the solution. The fact that they don't have this is why all of this molestation is happening. All of this child.
So rape I said it. RAPE 9-year-olds so that they don't get molested. Can you listen to what he's saying? Oh my God, children are being not molested. What should we do to them? Have intercourse with them. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh Jesus Christ. YouTube again. I'm not saying that. This idiot is saying that.
Child molestation, all this rape. How many children are molested every year in the school system, in this public school system? Millions.
Oh my God. Yeah. So.
And we don't like it.
Screw them so that you can save them from molestation.
Oh
That's the solution. He thinks that's the actual solution. That's what he's saying.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Mustafa, thank you for the super chat. He's saying, to quote Ali Dawa, what is a child?
By the way, I just want to mention something about this whole thing. This is their Achilles heel. Okay, the leftists who were sometimes tolerant with Muslim idea, the Islamic ideology. Soon, this part of Islam, you cannot separate the belief that Muhammad, RIP, the 9-year-old, from Islam. It's just too foundational. It's a mutawatir hadith. If you get rid of that hadith, you have gotten rid of 95% of Islam, because you have questioned not just Sahih hadith, but also mutawatir hadith. There will be no foundation left of Islam. So this is such a foundational part of Islamic belief that is undeletable, right? And this is not something that the liberal world will tolerate. Thank the devil for that. But this is something that the Muslims cannot tiptoe around. It is part of your ideology, no matter how much they try. So there's going to be a major clash. You cannot be tolerant, and the more Islam is going to be highlighted in the Western world, the more this part of Islam is going to be highlighted. And this is why you see more Muslims are now talking about it, because as Islam is becoming a bigger deal in the Western world, more people are feeling bold enough to point at this one issue. And now Muslim Dawah people who used to not defend this point because it was so embarrassing, you could see them now, they're coming and actually defending this. Like you didn't see Ali Dawa, Muhammad Hijab, Smile to Jannah, Daniel Hagaju. They used to try to avoid talking about this because they knew how much of a losing battle this was. But now it's becoming so mentioned so many times that they know that they have to defend it, and this is good. We want them to highlight this. They can't win this one battle. So if anybody says that it's too easy to point this and this is a low-hanging fruit, so don't talk about it, screw those. I'm trying not to swear because this is already getting flagged, this video. But so what? That is if it's a low-hanging fruit, pick it. We're being threatened by this ideology. Go for it. If it's an easy target, if it's a soft underbelly of the beast that we're dealing with, then go for it. Like, oh, it's a low-hanging fruit. Yeah, it's their Achilles heel. You find your enemy's weakest point and you go for it. Anyways, we got a whole bunch of super chats.
Oh, wonderful. So Nazone 75 said, to him, it's not RAPE if there's parental consent. This is insane. I wish my family could listen to this. Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, consent does not exist in Islam, right? A woman's consent does not exist in Islam. It's just the parents' consent.
Oh, yeah. Also, by the parents' consent, we're talking about the father's consent. Just to be clear, okay, it's not the parents' consent.
Yeah, let's be clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we got two more super chats, and they're kind of not related to this segment. So is there anything else we wanted to say on this segment before I do those super chats?
Oh wait, did you read Mustafa's super chat?
I did.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay, yeah. No, nothing else. So let's read the
Okay.
super chat and then go to.
So David gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you, David. Saying the so-called liberal Muslims in the West attack white supremacy, Hindutva, Zionism, but are silent on LGBT and religious minority rights in Muslim countries. That's not entirely true. I can think of examples of Muslims that speak out for LGBT rights and religious minority rights in Muslim countries easily. I know Muslims who
Yeah.
do that still living in Islamic countries, and they face a lot of danger because of it. So, yeah, I disagree.
Yeah, they do exist, guys. Like you could go find them. It's important that not to generalize, make general statements. Okay, you could talk about trends that are problematic, but let's not put everybody in the same basket.
Okay, and then we got a big 22 euro super chat from GJ. Wow, thank you, GJ. And saying, when France wouldn't invade Iraq in 2003, George W. told the US people to say, wait, freedom fries instead of French fries. Know that France literally gave the US its Statue of Liberty. Plus, compare each country's mottos. Hey, the whole freedom fries thing was very cringe. That whole freedom fries thing was super cringe. It's so stupid.
What was it? George Bush that said that? I thought people just did that themselves.
No, like like in the cafeteria that was in like Congress, they literally changed it to freedom fries. I'm 90% sure.
Okay.
So stupid. Like, where are our priorities, people? Come on now.
Okay, but also let me say something. The biggest thing that the French have given to the United States is not the Statue of Liberty. If you want to mention the gift, it's the Constitution. U.S. Constitution was very much influenced by French philosophers and thinkers. So the very foundation of the United States.
Merci.
Yeah. But thank you, GJ. Thank you for the super chat. Big super chats by GJ. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We got a super chat from Indra. No comment, just 40 euros. Thank you, Indra. One of my favorite Hindu gods. Indra is so underappreciated. Indra is badass.
That is not
Anyways.
that's for the rupees, I think, not euros.
Oh, excuse me, I misspoke. And Secret Songs gave a $5 super chat as well. Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah. Also, Indra, the original gods of India, okay, are not Vishnu and Brahma. Okay, they're Indra.
Agni.
What was that other guy? Agni. Yes, Agni. Agni is my favorite.
They're the best.
Yeah. Yes. Shiva is still back from. Shiva is old. Okay, Shiva had the prototype of Shiva is old, but this whole Vishnu is like modern, not
proto Shiva, Indra, and Agni. Those are my boys. No.
That's the original Trinity. That's the original Trinity.
Yeah.
All right, Agni. My favorite is Agni. All right. Wait. Let's unhighlight this. There we go. Can we clap for the next news?
So this next news is actually our only like genuinely bad news this week.
Okay.
So we have one bad news, and
while
then
you read this.
The rest is fine. Okay.
Okay.
But this is important to talk about. So.
Okay. Cool. Wait for me to go down. Okay. Next news. 1 second.
Unveiling ISIS, the secret war against Christians in Africa. Despite the Islamic State, known as ISIS, losing significant ground in Iraq and Syria in 2019 and 2020, recent horrific events in Africa indicate the group's alarming resurgence. The brutal attack on the Luhubiriha Secondary School in Mompomdwe, Uganda, where 37 students were killed by a suspected member of the Islamist-aligned Allied Defense Forces, or the ADF, an ISIS affiliate, underscores this resurgence. The students were either butchered with machetes or burned to death, with the attack being one of the many ISIS-related incidents in Africa. Further highlighting this menacing trend, a recent report from the Middle East Media Research Institute, or MEMRI for short, provides chilling details about the extensive attacks by ISIS-affiliated groups in Africa, primarily targeting Christian communities. According to memory, quote, ISIS-linked fighters killed at least 202 Nigerian Christians, 157 Mozambican Christians, 365 Congolese Christians, with dozens of churches burned. The report also documents the widespread enslavement of minorities and forced conversion to Islam. These escalating terror acts serve as a distressing reminder of ISIS's expanding influence in Africa. So I thought this was really important because we were kind of talking about this on the show last week. A lot of people don't realize that ISIS is still a thing, and it's actually very active in Africa. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this week, because in general, these kinds of attacks don't get any coverage in Africa, which is really unfortunate. And it helps raise awareness about the fact that this threat of IS is still very real, but just because it's in a different country and it's not coming into Europe or the US the same way it used to, it's just fallen off the radar. But there is still a lot of really insane brutality that's happening, including this attack that happened on at this school in Uganda like 2 weeks ago. And it's horrific. Like, this is one of the worst school attacks that has happened in Uganda in a very, very long time. These people just went to this school and just started butchering people, straight up butchering all these students. And some of the bodies are so badly damaged that they're only going to be able to identify the bodies of the students through DNA sampling. And go ahead.
Can you imagine if these numbers were happening in Europe? Can you imagine what would be the news cycle like? If these exact same, like if there was a school attack by ISIS somewhere in Europe like this?
Even if this was happening like in Iraq or Syria, we would hear about this.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so if it was happening in Iraq or Syria, we would hear about it, but it wouldn't be like dominating all over the news. But if it was happening in Europe, then it would be just like, it would be the biggest news of the decade.
Yeah.
That level of, yeah.
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 And I think so I was reading into this attack by the ADF, the Allied Democratic Forces is what they're technically known as. And the Allied Democratic Forces has been a problem in Uganda since like the late 90s. And they kind of became a thing because of grievances from local Muslims, and then it evolved into what it is now, where the ADF officially became an ISIS affiliate, I believe in 2019. So they were a pre-existing group that existed long before ISIS, and then ISIS grew to the claim and fame and brand name that it is, and then they aligned themselves with ISIS, right? And they were saying that part of the reason behind this attack is basically because they've been facing a lot of pressure, and they wanted to show that they still have the teeth to do this. And they use it as marketing. This is their marketing.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, exactly, you're so right, Susie. Like, we're like, what's the point of this? Okay, you're like, it's to show strength. It's to show like we're still relevant people. We're still here. The brand is branding. It's a marketing, because they need the marketing. People are like, why would they need to market? Because for recruiting, people need to believe that this is a thing that's alive, that is serving a purpose. They need to have brand recognition for recruiting reasons. That's why so imagine you being the victim. Imagine you being like a Christian that is being killed. I'm like, why are you killing me? Okay, so the reason they tell you is like, oh, because you're a heretic and blah blah blah. But the actual reason is that you are being killed for marketing purposes. Unbelievable.
It's so brutal. And when I was reading this report includes a lot of imagery that is not usually included in reporting on this kind of stuff. And I'm talking like, they're like, here are the ISIS photos of the Christians that they beheaded and how they were advertising it and how they were talking about it and all this stuff. And one of the things that was included in this report, like Armin, I swear to God, I will never forget this image in my head. It was on the floor, on the ground, there was a head, just a beheaded, bloody head. and there was a man standing over this head. And what he was doing was he was holding this boy that was probably no more than 3 or 4 years old. And he's holding the boy over the head so that the baby boy can kick the head of the blasphemer and infidel.
The hell?
And they're like, here's a
When was
photo of
this?
this.
When was this?
I don't know off the top of my head when that photo was taken. I mean, if you give me a second, I can look it up.
No, is it recent? That's all I want to know.
I mean, within the past, since 2015.
Yeah.
God, I don't want to look at this picture again.
So, so some people are saying, no, don't forget about it. I don't want you to see
Yeah,
that.
it's from 2014. That
Okay.
photo was from
So
2014.
Which countries in Africa are being mostly influenced right now? Like
So
mostly
a lot
north.
of it is on the borders of Uganda. Mozambique is a very big one. We've talked about a lot of the beheadings and massacres that have happened in Mozambique. We talk about that on this show. In the Congo, in general, there's a lot of this issue. And in Nigeria has a problem with the Fulani Muslims becoming radicalized and getting into this kind of thing. In the past year, we've talked a lot about how the persecution of Nigerian Christians is exploding over the past few years.
Yeah. Nigeria especially has so much potential. You have, how people think like we're making atheists and secular activism. Oh, these atheists are making such a big deal about it, as if like it's the world problems could be solved by having less religion. Well, guess what? It can be. A lot of it can. It's true. Like everywhere you look, Nigeria is, I think, is one of the most largest countries in the world by population.
It's in the top 10 most populous.
I think it's number 7. I think
very,
and
very
it's
young.
soon going to go to 4, right? And very young. It has such a massive human potential, right? To become to not just advance, but also carry the rest of Africa with it. Okay, it has amazing potential, and it's being held back. Africa is being held back by religion. It's religion. United States is being held back by religion. Israel is being held back by religion. Iran is being held back by religion. India is being held back by religion. So atheist activism should be one of the priorities among different brands of activism. If you want a better world, atheist activism, look how small we are compared to other brands of activism. It should be one of the priorities in the world. Look where we could be. Look at where Africa could be right now. There's so much Africa could do right now. It's the insecurity right now in Africa that is holding things back. And the insecurity comes from religious extremism.
Well, and the religious extremism is entrenched by the dire material circumstances. We have to acknowledge that as well.
Of
course,
doesn't
happen in a vacuum.
It's multifactorial. Okay, we're not trying to simplify things. Some people are saying it's only religion. Some people are saying religion has nothing to do with it. Okay, and it's only economic conditions. Okay. But it's neither one of these things. Religion is a major source of destabilization. It's not the only thing, but it's a major one. Anyways.
Yeah. Are you doing another show after this one? Because I know sometimes you have a hard stop.
No.
Okay, thank God.
Thank please, you mean?
Hey.
Yeah.
This next story is pretty funny.
Can we clap for it?
Yes, we can. We're back to just like happy, silly stories.
Okay, guys. We're back. Can I just say one more thing? Okay.
Yeah, cool.
One more thing. One other place you can see the difference among how news coverage happens. You know how that submarine with all the people died in it, that's got a lot of coverage, right? But just right at the same time, there was a boat that I think 600 people of refugees were in there.
Yeah,
that
off the
didn't
coast
get
of
any.
Greece.
Yeah, that didn't get any at all the same level of coverage. Like 600 people. compared
If you
to
see the
5
footage of
people.
the people that survived that, what happened there, like I literally can't even think about it too much because I have a breakdown.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cena. Oh, yeah. Cena is pointing to obvious. Like Cena is like, but Armin, the submarine folks were rich. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. Exactly. Again, I'm not sure. By the way, just to be clear, I'm not dismissing the tragedy of this people in the submarine dying. Obviously, I
Oh,
don't
we know
care
that,
how rich they
Armin.
were.
Yeah, we know that.
I know, but some people might think like I'm dismissing that as a tragedy. Okay, I know 5 people dying in a submarine. That is definitely a tragedy. Okay, I'm just pointing out that 600 people is also maybe a bigger tragedy, and I'm saying maybe as sarcastically. It's obviously is a bigger tragedy. Okay, so no more, guys. It's easy from now on. Next news.
Next news: a ride to hell. Poland's bus 666 takes an unexpected turn. It's a detour on the highway to hell in Poland as the local bus operator PKS Gdynia recently changed the number of its famous route, number 666, rebranding it to number 669. This comes after conservative Christian groups expressed their discomfort over the route's devilish digits, sparking controversy. PKS Gdynia, the local bus operator, announced that the switch on social media with a playful nod, stating, quote, "This year, we're turning the last 6 upside down." Many mourned the change as the bus route's satanic association has become a marketing sensation. One local remarked, "I have read about the line 666 to hell many times on foreign websites. I'm convinced tourists took this bus for fun." Despite this change, the allure of hell's sun-drenched beaches and maritime charms remain, even if the highway to hell has taken a detour. So this is funny. So in Poland, there is a town called Hel, spelled Hel. The word in Polish for the satanic hell is actually different, so it's not the same in English, right? And to go to hell, you can take a bus that was number 666. And there were people that would take this bus kind of just for the charm and the story, even though you could go to this beach town where people vacation much faster by train, but they'd go by this bus. And there was backlash from local Catholics basically saying that if you make this kind of joke or saying this kind of thing, you're not taking it seriously, and you're like maybe making people think that it's like basically okay to joke about this kind of thing, and this is like serious.
Well,
This is your eternal soul we're talking about. This is no laughing matter, guys. Okay,
like
so
it's like it's almost as if we're treating your religion like a joke. It's almost like we're treating it like a joke.
But yeah, but Poland is one of the only countries in Europe. Poland has the most strict blasphemy law to this day. They still have blasphemy laws on the books, so people do take this kind of thing seriously, right? And I just think it's so funny because I'm immature that they're like, "Oh, we're gonna switch it from 666 to 669." I'm like, nice.
Imagine that, but imagine not knowing anything behind this, and you're clueless and just waiting for the bus, and this shows up. You're like, what the? Imagine being a Catholic and just sitting there, and the bus shows up, and it says 666 going to hell. I'm like, what the hell?
Just
being
do
a
a sign
tourist.
of the cross before you get on.
Maybe
Just have your rosaries going the whole time.
God, maybe God is trying to tell me that I've been bad, been naughty.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
So
God.
since this happened, there actually has been a lot of backlash, and people want them to bring it back. They're like, no, this was charming, and people wanted to do this for fun, and this was like a marketing ploy, and tourists liked it. It gave them an excuse to go to our beach town, So I just thought that this was really, really funny. And kind of, quaint in its own way. And I actually wait, I want to find it. Do you remember that Polish death metal artist that got in trouble for blasphemy? His name was Nurgle.
No. Oh wait, yes.
He was the one that he had a criminal case filed against him because he took a photo like where he's stepping on the Mother Mary, and so he had criminal charges against him. And he made a post about this. Let me find what he said if I can. Yeah, he said it's a few he posted about this and he said it's a few days old already, but I needed time to process the absurdity of this. The headlines explain everything, but no logic explains why actions like that happen in a civilized and secular state. Polish Catholic rhetoric has again proven to be the definition of idiocy par excellence. Every time I think of retirement, those religious clowns give me the reason to continue this crusade against intellectual obscurity. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, you tell them.
That's funny. By the way, talking about hell-themed attractions, okay, can I use this as an opportunity to show what a theme park that people made on AI that was satanic? Yeah. By the way, I forgot that Indra gave us a super chat, so we'll remind me to read it after this when we finish with this. Okay, but look at this. It's so gorgeous. And so many people thought it's a real theme park and they were looking for it. We're like, where is this? They want to go. But it's actually just
that
made
would
by
be pretty
AI.
sick, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it was made by AI, and I think somebody should make this theme park. I think people will show up. Look at this. Look at the colors.
Yeah, that is sick.
Yeah, look at that. This is gorgeous.
That's pretty cool.
Look at this. Oh my god. Look at
It's
this.
so gothic. I love the details. It's very intricate.
Oh. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, baby.
Wow, look at this. So cool. Somebody should make this theme park.
Yeah.
People
this
will
is
show
so much
up
better
all
than
around
like
the
a
world.
haunted house.
Yeah. I think the Satanic Temple should fund this. Look at that. Oh my god. Look at that.
That'd be
Oh my
awesome.
god. Yeah. So we have 2 super chats. But this is funny because Indra gave us another super chat without saying anything. But Jad responded. So thank you, Indra. But Jad responded, Indra is making it rain.
But
which is funny. Yeah, which is funny because Indra was a rain god. Yeah, so that's pretty good. By the way, it's weird because Indra is very much like some other rain gods, which at the same time was like a warlike god. And also Yahweh was copied. Yahweh was also copied from a god that was both war and rain. Anyways. So GJ just gave us a super chat. Do you want to read that?
Yeah, GJ is saying, thank you for the super chat, GJ. I joked with my religious Iranian Dutch friend, when was the most recent atheism-driven terrorist attack that you remember? He seriously tried to access his memory, a futile effort.
That's funny.
It is what it is.
Okay. Let me close this one. Can we clap? Oh, I think we can clap for the rest of the news, right? So
yeah. And the rest of the news is easy.
Okay. I'm just not gonna ask it because it's for because that's how we do it, right? Next news. Trans ban wreaks havoc on the Spider-Verse. Arab countries snub a Marvel film. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has spun an international web of conspiracy and controversy as several Arab countries, including the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Bahrain, have opted to snub the Marvel film due to allegations of trans representation within its storyline. A significant point of contention stemmed from a scene in the film's trailer that showed a poster on the protagonist, Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen's, bedroom wall proclaiming protect trans lives.
which many speculated implied that the character might be transgender. Caught in a tangled interplay of cultural and cinematic tension, the blockbuster's ban has sparked profound conversation on how LGBT themes are received in different parts of the world. Saudi national Abdullah al-Ufi emphasized this sentiment, stating, quote, "We don't want to show the next generation that this is something normal." This isn't a standalone incident in the region. A similar trend of banning movies featuring LGBT characters or themes has been ongoing, highlighting the persistent challenges that exist in negotiating the balance between diverse narratives and cultural sensitivities in the realm of global entertainment. So, apparently there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out. The Spider-Man is like a girl or whatever. And there's like different people saying why this was banned. Some people think that it was because in the trailer, they're in the background of the wall, it said like protect trans lives. And that was enough to like warrant the ban, right? And then in the West, there's actually an ongoing like conversation right now where people are trying to decide if the character of Gwen in this film is like actually trans, because the colors of this character are like pale pink, pale blue, and white, which are the colors of the trans flag. So they're like, oh my God, this character is trans coded, blah, blah, blah. She's actually secretly trans. And look at here, you can see a screenshot of the poster. I can barely read that. How did they even, Armin, you're muted. I don't know how they even saw that. I'm looking at a blow up of it right now, and I can still barely read it.
It says protect. Why am I getting ad? What is this ad on the right? I don't understand this. I don't even want to scroll up. What the hell is that? Anyways, but okay, but it says protect trans kids.
Protect trans kids.
Yes, but I think that I'm glad that they put it there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad that they put it there because I think I think it was intentional. I think they wanted to put a subtle reference in it just to get people talking about it, and that's a good that's a good way of advertising, because they don't, like, obviously they think about this. They don't just put this thing just for no reason, right? And I think the subtle way that they put it there was also on purpose. I mean, every single one of these frames is there's a reason, there's a purpose behind it, right? Yeah. But I'm glad they're doing this. I'm really glad they're doing this, because here's the superiority of American culture is being weaponized to destroy backward conservatism around the globe, right? And it should be done so, right? Right now, when it comes to culture, the strength of culture, the two countries that are ahead that are performing really well on a global scale, it used to be just the United States, but now it's United States and South Korea. Japan is like a close third, I think, right? Japan is like, no, I don't know. Yeah, Japan is huge as well. So Japan, South Korea, and United States. Like when it comes to consuming, it used to be just United States. Like even as a child, I noticed that it doesn't matter where you go. If you go to France, if you go to India, if you go to Malaysia, if you walk in a mall, the song that is playing is an American song. If you go to the theater,
it was super weird. I go clothing shopping, and all the sweatshirts that they're selling are all the names of American universities. I was like, what the hell? You guys have your own schools. Like, why are you? It's all American college. Like, that's so weird.
Yeah, if you go to the movie theater, everybody has, like, they have movies of their own country and the movies of United States, right? They don't have, like, people don't go to theater in Malaysia to watch French movies that much. Okay, they either watch Malaysian movies or American movies, right? So it used to be just United States for a while, and now Japan picked up, and now South Korea has picked up, and it's their culture is being consumed globally, right? And I like how the number one country, that strength of their culture is being weaponized to spread liberal values across the world. This is good. I hope that Japan and South Korea eventually do the same. So this is good. I like it. I like it
It's so
because
funny
it's too good. It's too good. It's too good. People will consume this. Okay,
yeah.
you cannot not consume this. What are you gonna watch? You're gonna watch your own, movies of your own country. Like they suck. They
Why do you
suck.
say it like
They
that?
suck.
It could be good.
Because sure, I guess compared to what United States has to offer, they suck. Let's be honest,
I like
right?
Tamil movies.
I know, but
Tollywood.
relatively, it's like you watch it, but then you also watch this. It's like a different level. It's completely
Oh,
different level.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, these
it's
are Armin's words,
come
not
on.
mine.
Yeah. I mean, people watch it because people watch the movies and songs from their own country because it's relevant. It's familiar. It's about issues that they care about, the
Mm.
languages they understand. Okay, but also when the level of entertainment that they could get, why would they watch American movies when it's not doesn't have any of those things?
Mhm.
Right? Because it just like, why would you watch Game of Thrones? Because your own country has nothing that offers that isn't even remotely close. Your country could never produce, and I'm not talking about just like Iran or India. I'm talking even about advanced countries. Like France cannot make Game of Thrones, right? France cannot even make this. These comes out of the United States. So what are you
France
gonna do?
can
You
make
have to
this.
watch it.
What are you saying? Like the production
Not the
value
same.
of Game of Thrones is one thing. Like, I don't want to get
Not
caught
the
up
same
on
level. Not the same level. Not the
this.
same
Okay.
level. It's not the same level. Yeah. Darko is saying Armin being cultural supremacists because they are superior. Okay, they are superior. You want to deny that? Just look at their performance. Why are French people? Okay, France can produce this. Okay, sure. Why are French people watching this in France, but Americans are not watching French movies in the United States
Because
at the same level?
because Americans are so lazy that they are too lazy to read the subtitles because we're dumb. We're dumb as a nation. We're dumb.
No, because why? Why are Americans? No. Okay, first of all, when it comes to being dumb, that's the same thing with other places as well. Okay, that's the same thing with other places as well. Okay, but the reason why Americans are less interested in other countries is because people become interested in other countries when they have something, when their culture is consumable. That's how they become interested. And look at Americans; they are now interested in anime. Americans are not interested in Japanese culture. They are. Okay,
Yeah.
so once that country gets to a level where it has something that people want to consume, they become interested. Americans are now becoming more and more interested in Japan because of the level of culture that Japan is able to produce.
And the production quality is fire.
Yes, but not Germany, because Germany is not in the same level as Japan. So even if you were like, oh, Americans are dumb, they don't care about things that are not in America. Well, how come they're interested in Japan and not interested in Germany? Because Japan is producing more high quality, more entertaining stuff.
I don't know. Well, this was a little bit of a sidebar. I don't know. I feel very differently
Sorry.
about that kind of thing because I am obsessed with other cultures.
Yes,
but
that's you. That's you.
I know.
Okay.
I know. But Mustafa, because I was saying, how did they even see it? Like, I'm looking at a blow up and I can't even see it. And Mustafa's like, how did they see it? With great transphobia comes great transphobic senses.
That's
So
good.
funny.
That's good. Okay, that was good. That's good. Okay. So can we clap for the next news?
Yes, because we're talking about some Iranian badasses.
Okay. Yeah.
One of our favorite topics on this channel.
I know. And I'm trying to clap, but I have my microphone so much closer, so I have to be careful when I'm clapping. Next news.
Next news, saying no to the hijab, the growing resistance in Iranian universities. and a defiant stand against Iran's mandatory hijab laws. Students from multiple Iranian universities have organized a series of protests. A peaceful sit-in at the National Guard campus of the Art University of Tehran epitomized their resistance, calling for an end to the strict enforcement and subsequent punishments related to hijab noncompliance within academic institutions. The Iranian security forces swiftly responded, arresting over 10 students and detaining several others for hours. Amid these repressive actions, a potent symbol of resistance emerged with the Persian hashtag Na, translating to no, trending on Twitter as a sign of solidarity with the student protesters. Fueling this no campaign, a powerful statement from the students emerged declaring, quote, "We who have become us for almost a year now have nothing to say to you except the word no. We reiterate that we will not turn back." This bold academic uprising has garnered its extensive support from other colleges and universities in Iran, highlighting the burgeoning unrest against the Islamic Republic's control over individual freedoms. So, Armin, this is a very important campaign that's been trending for a while now on Persian social media. All my friends, I'm just constantly seeing hashtag nah, like everywhere. So please tell us like more about this campaign, what you've been seeing, what you think the impact has been, that kind of thing.
The main impact is to show that the revolution is not over. Is going from one phase to another. It's taking different forms, but it's still alive and continues. And how weak the government has become. It's people are demonstrating how unable the government has been in enforcing these laws, and how every time they come up and introduce a new norm and new standards, it's one step is basically giving in, right? It's a it's a surrender of the government to the people demand. And a lot of people think that that's not we shouldn't be satisfied with that. We shouldn't be happy with that, because this would be reducing the revolution to just the hijab and stuff, and we want to topple this government. I completely disagree with that. I think that these the Iranian people will not be satisfied with their government just because they have more lax hijab laws. I think in fact it does the opposite, because people think like this is going to make people be satisfied and stop taking action against the regime and protesting against the regime, fighting against the regime. I think that's not the case. I think it's actually it's a demonstration to the people that the government is weak, that the people have the upper hand, that their fight has not been for none. Because imagine if you didn't even get this, then how much if you didn't get this, then people would think that they got nothing out of getting so many people killed, so many people died, so many people were arrested, so many people lost their eyes, right? There was so much blood, so many executions. And if you don't get any victories, then they will not continue the fight, because it was all for naught. But if the government backtracks, if the government surrenders to the people, even if the regime was not toppled, people will see that they got something out of their struggle, something out of their fight, and they will encourage them to continue the fight in the future. So I think what we're just saying right now is nothing compared to just like 2 years ago with the government. Like, this is unimaginable for people 2 years ago for women to just not have the hijab in universities. Like, forget this. You have to understand, the battle is being reduced now to the universities, because the streets have been taken over, right? The streets, people are showing up in parties and streets and movie theaters without the hijab all the time. This is where now the battle is being, the universities and some other places is where the fight is being still. And they will conquer this area as well. Anyways, that's all my thoughts.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see like this take off across social media, because the uprising in Iran like definitely is entering a different phase. We haven't seen mass demonstrations out on the street that we have, I mean, obviously in the beginning, but people need to understand that this is actually a natural evolution of a movement, and it should be expected, and it's like developmentally appropriate, so to speak. And there are studies about this, right? This is following the normal trends of movements across history, and it's entering into new phases. And so I wanted to cover this to show that, one, like, this struggle isn't over, that this is still something that is very relevant. And have you been seeing any like backlash to this campaign? Like any criticisms? What do you think is the most positive thing that's come out of this?
Well, no, I mean, most people are celebrating it, except some few people like that think there's religious anti-regime people who, in the name of trying to protect Islamic standards, they think they don't. I feel like they are sometimes not being that honest, right? Because they don't like how a lot of the symbols of this revolution is anti-Islamic, right? So instead of saying that out loud, saying that's because they're Muslims themselves, right? And they are against the regime and they don't like this trend. But instead of saying that they're trying to protect their Islam, they're saying that these are the pro-regime. They accuse people like me of being of playing for the regime, either knowingly or unknowingly, by trying to reduce this revolution to the hijab, right? And they're saying like, don't make this revolution about the hijab because they say that this is the Islamic Republic's plan. They're trying to make this entire revolution about hijab, and then eventually they will give you voluntarily hijab and remove mandatory hijab so that they could end the revolution. But I think that they're using that narrative as a way to direct attention away from the anti-Islamic elements of this revolution, and I think that's a mistake because this entire regime, its entire base is Islamic, and the Islamic ideology is the government's soft power. It has weaponized its religious identity, and to fight this regime, you have to fight its ideology. You have to fight its base, which is the Islamic ideology that it has. It has so far been very successful because of the anti-Islamic nature that it has. So, I think it's such a disservice. It's such a betrayal to the revolution to try to take that away from it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't know. I think I don't know. I can't really disclose this much, but it just makes me think about some of the Atheist Republic members that we have inside Iran right now that are young women that I'm friends with them, and I see them posting like them just like walking around without the hijab like all the time. And I'm like, wow, look at these girls. Like, so badass. I never want to be called brave when we have people in our own community who are doing that and taking that risk. And I see it firsthand. It's incredible. Should speak because we're having an Iran related segment. You wanted me to maybe show this. Should we do that or no?
Yes. Show it. Of course.
Okay,
Wait,
so
hold on,
guys, yesterday I went to an Iranian festival and it was so much fun. And there was a guy who was so nice, and he was Norman, come back. He was doing calligraphy for free. Like, I really wanted to give him something for it, right? But he refused to let me pay him. And so I got two calligraphies that I requested. And so this one is one of my favorites. This says Azadi to Nafrush, which means don't sell your freedom. Okay. But then this one is the special one. Armin, tell people, what does this say?
It says Jomhuriya bi Khodayan, which means Atheist Republic in Persian. That's so beautiful.
And amazing. You know what was so funny? I didn't tell you this yet. When he so he gave me the other one first, and then he did this one, and he did this calligraphy, and I was kind of talking to him. He's like, oh, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, and blah blah blah, and I've had my own journey. And we're talking, and he did the calligraphy for this, and he sat there for a second, and he looked at it before he looked at me, and it was kind of like I saw him thinking to himself about what he just did when he made this. And he goes, where I'm from, this is a crime.
Oh.
To make this. And it was so interesting for me to like see him do it and then like look at it and like reflect and be like, whoa, like think about what I just did and say that to me. He's like, did you know that? I'm like, oh yes, I know that. Yeah. I told them, I'm like, this is
I
why
know
we're
it.
an
I know the
organization.
feeling.
We're an organization for people who want to be able to do something like this. You know? Yeah. So that
You
was
know,
just really cool.
I so know what he's talking about because, you know, once you're not in Iran anymore, and sometimes you just randomly do things, and you're like, wait, I'm just doing something that is illegal, and here it's not. You know what I mean? It just feels weird. You know what I mean? Because you lived so much under a place where like you had to worry about doing something like that, and now you're like, is this like you think about it like this was illegal before? I don't know how to explain the feeling, but I get what he was when you're telling me that he wrote that and he looked at it and he thought about that. I think I know exactly the feeling that he's talking about because I had that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh,
It kind of reminds me when you would tell the story about when you would read the Quran and actually touch the name of Allah, and you're like, whoa,
yeah,
like I can do this
exactly.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
We got a super chat by
Nice.
DJ.
Oh, this is related to one of our previous segments. GJ gave us 6 euros.
We forgot to
Thank
highlight
you.
that.
Saying the current avalanche of the USA superhero films just effing sucks. No offense to Stan Lee, but a lot of comics should just remain comics. Hey, look, I agree. I don't like superhero movies at all. Yeah.
But who cares? Other people like them. They're, you know, I mean, here's a solution.
I want some original content. God damn. Not recycled.
Okay. But they're making original content. If you don't like this, just don't watch it.
Yeah, and I don't.
I mean, have you seen Dune? That's beautiful.
Dune was kind of boring.
I liked it.
Dune was very slow, I'm not gonna lie.
I like that it was slow. You know, it's just like okay. Why you get visibly upset when I'm enjoying something that you don't? Look at your face.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
She's like, hey, I didn't do that to what you like. Okay.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Oh, Cena is celebrating his 15-month membership. I can't highlight it because it's like when I celebrate 15-month membership, it doesn't stream it. It doesn't let me highlight it. It says, "Well, that's like your opinion, man." Did you know what I mean? Right? I can't do voices. The meme. Well, that's like your opinion, man. Okay. If I had time, I would go find it and show you. But I know what you're referring to. I know that reference, Cena. I know it. I know what you're talking about. It's a funny meme.
I see what you did there.
Anyway. I see what you did there.
And thank you for being a member.
Yes, thank you for 15 months of membership. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Are you afraid to admit you're an atheist? You're not alone, studies show. In the face of declining religiosity in the United States, the silent struggle of atheists grappling with social stigma and discrimination has been illuminated in a comprehensive year-long study by Dr. Dina Abbott, an assistant professor of counseling psychology at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Abbott's research, which involved 600 atheists, half of whom are women and half are residing in rural areas, underlines the reticence of atheists in publicly expressing their non-belief. Quote, both rural and women-identifying atheists were thoughtful about not sharing large parts of their worldview, Abbott emphasized. The study unveils a deep-rooted social pressure and discrimination that these groups face, from stereotypes as being sexually immoral for female atheists to rural atheists' limited access to secular health care. Ultimately, Abbott's work aims to arm mental health professionals with insights to better support their non-religious clients, underscoring the profound effect of identity and experienced discrimination on psychological well-being. So this is really interesting, and Dee found this story and she wanted to make sure that we cover this because it's important for people to know that even so technically, like, atheists are, I believe, one of the fastest growing religious groups in America, or belief-based groups. And Yet in America, there are still lots of people that hide their secular identity, even in America. And so she thought that that was really important to cover and highlight for other people like know and understand that. And the issues that they face, I thought were particularly interesting. So one of these things that this study looked at was, for example, one nuance that I found fascinating was that for female atheists, one of the things that they struggled with was not necessarily the fact that they were atheist or but they struggled with was the fact that they refused to conform to Christian cultural norms, and because of that, they are labeled as sexually immoral because they're not falling into those roles and tropes. And I thought that was so interesting because I actually think that that spoke a lot to my own experience as well. It's like I don't really struggle that much with the fact that I'm an atheist, or like I don't really face that much like problems with it in my life or whatever, but within like the culture of like my family system, like my sexuality like is a contention because it's not falling under a Christian worldview. So I thought that was really interesting. Armin, what do you think about that?
I was thinking, is there a way that we could use this as a way to promote, to get all the benefits that Muslims, Jews, LGBT, and other minorities have gotten protection in the workplace and against discrimination? Like, can't we like use this study as a way to start mobilizing some political activism to get people to be basically put that as a threat to people who might want to discriminate against atheists? Because right now, if you suspect that you have been, like, if you go to apply for a job and you're a Muslim, a lot of employers are worried, rightfully so, to discriminate against you for being a Muslim. You know what I mean? Like, you could get in serious trouble if people find out that this had any influence at all in your decision-making process, right? However, they're not afraid to do that with atheism because those levels of protections doesn't exist, and it's not even a taboo thing that people refer to, right? So now that we have studies, like, we should like utilize these studies as a way to start creating that taboo, start creating a backlash. It needs to cost society something for it to be bigoted against atheists. So is there a way that you think that we could like start mobilizing and making that a thing, that this type of discrimination, for it not to be okay?
I think that would require more people adopting atheist as a positive identity that they choose instead of just non-religious as a negative identity that they no longer belong in. You know what I mean? So it's like actually it's an identity group that you affirm instead of something that you are leaving and just leaving behind. I think that's the biggest thing. Because if you look at the statistics, the amount of Americans that self-identify as an atheist is still very small, but the amount that just say that I'm non-religious is huge and growing year over year over year. And there are like no signs of it. I mean, as generations continue, we're just going to see that more and more. But that's obviously very different than an affirmative identity of being an atheist.
That's actually a very good point. This is why we're trying to normalize set people saying it's not just about not believing in God. Okay, you people using that label atheist and saying it without shame. It's an important part of the activism, and it has it makes a difference. Okay, so if you are an atheist, please try mentioning to people that you are an atheist. It's important to say that.
I mean, you don't have to come out, the front gate saying it, but if it comes up, you don't have to run away from it. You don't bust down the front door. I'm an atheist.
Well, but if you could find an excuse to mention to people, it helps because you're part of normalizing it.
Yeah. I want to read this comment by D. I think it's really good. She's saying it is so problematic that in the US, atheism is seen as immoral. We have to keep saying we are atheists to normalize it. Exactly. We have to destigmatize it. And that's exactly why the name of our organization is what it is, right? We're trying to take away that stigma. We're not secular. We're not humanists. No, we're atheists, and that's okay. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a dirty word. There are so many atheists who treat atheist as a dirty word. It's kind of actually a huge problem in the secular community.
Exactly. All right, we got a super chat. Do you want to read this one?
Ooh, beautiful. Thank you, Trells, for the super chat. Armin recently said, quote, even if Muhammad had sex with all the grannies in his town, it still would not make Aisha okay. Wait, what? So isn't it time for Cougar Khadija and Boy Toy Muhammad art to counter Daniel Akikajo?
Yeah, that would be a good one. We should do that.
What is the context of Muhammad having sex with grannies?
Because a lot of Muslims, okay, say that Muhammad cannot be a PDF file. It is, and it's okay that he did that because he also had sex with Khadija, who was a lot older than her, right? So there's 2 points. First of all,
checkmate, atheists.
Yeah, like, okay. It's basically, I said, it's kind of like saying that, I'm a doctor and I saved people's lives. So can you forgive this murder? Can you please not call me a murderer? That's offensive. I saved people's life. That was just one time that I murdered somebody. Okay. So it's kind of like that. Also, that's not even a good example because you didn't save anybody by having sex with Khadija. Yeah, but so that is, you cannot excuse Muhammad's intercourse with a 9-year-old just because he also had sex with older women. One, also, it's very important. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but stop calling Muhammad a PDF file. He's a child molester, not a PDF file, because that is a mental condition. That's a disease that should be treated. It's not, we're not trying to demonize people's mental conditions. We're trying to what we are against is the action, right? So Muhammad is much worse than a PDF file. He's a child molester. There are many people that have that mental condition that know better enough to not act upon it. And that is not something that should be demonized, because demonizing that mental condition, it puts more children at risk. Because these people who have this mental condition, if you need to be able to tell psychologists that they have that, because so that they could get treated. Because if they feel so isolated and so demonized that they can't share this with anybody, there's a more likelihood that they're going to take action upon it. These people need your support and sympathy, because they are born with a mental condition that needs to be treated, or at least it can't be treated. At least it needs to be contained, not treated, because it's not treatable, right? So again, it's not the mental disorder that is the problem. It's the action that we have a problem with, and that's child abuse and child molestation, which that is what Muhammad is guilty of, not to be a PDF file. And we got another super chat.
Shaika, thank you for the super chat. 100 rupees, saying religious people go more crazy when they see a female atheist compared to a male atheist. They think a female atheist would challenge their patriarchy. This is a lot of it.
On average.
This is a lot of it. Like Ali Rizvi, he says, like, you cannot be a feminist and promote religion. It's just antithetical. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So they get a lot more crap on average. The female atheists, I've seen how much more crap they get relative to male ones. It's insane. Oh, I like this one. The based Armin thing. Thank you. All right. Clapping for the next news.
Next news. Bedroom exorcism. Gay TikToker reveals parents' shocking homophobia. In a shocking revelation on TikTok, 25-year-old gay TikToker Andrew Holzer from Kansas City, Missouri, shared his parents' extreme homophobia, recounting how they once hired a preacher to perform a bizarre exorcism in his bedroom in an attempt to change his sexuality. Holzer captured the bizarre ordeal on hidden cameras he had installed to protect his privacy and property. The footage showed the preacher, identified as John Jacobs, fervently shouting and using religious rituals on Holzer's clothes, closet, and belongings. Reflecting on the traumatic experience, Haltzer mentioned that his parents had previously subjected him to years of conversion therapy and sent him to a Christian university in hopes of changing his sexual orientation. Posting the video, Haltzer aimed to shed light on the right-wing Christian fanatics who view homosexuality as evil and perpetuate harmful practices despite lacking substantial evidence. So, Armin, for context, I think we should just go ahead and open this segment by watching the video from Andrew.
Okay, this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Here's when my parents hired an exorcist to get all the demons out of my room that they thought were making me gay.
Devil, go in Jesus' name. You foul spirit, you leave in Jesus' name. What has happened in this closet in Jesus' name? Every evil spirit, go now in Jesus' name. Evil spirit, go now in Jesus' name. And I pray the conviction of the Lord upon this room in Jesus' name. Devil, you have no more place. You can never enter this room again. I plead the blood of Christ over this closet, over every piece of clothing in here. Salvation in Jesus' name. The presence of God. Whew. Something was in here in Jesus' name. Thank you, Jesus. We commission angels to be in this closet. I anoint this oil represents the oil of the Holy Spirit, and we anoint this bed in the name of Jesus, that every person that touches this bed shall be saved. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. Whew. In Jesus' name. I feel that.
Oh, I feel that.
In this direction. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
What the?
This other side's had just as much shenanigans.
What the hell did I just watch? That was insane.
Yeah. What we just watched is a bedroom exorcism. A bedroom exorcism.
There's not that many ideologies that makes you go walk in a closet and just start talking to your people's, shouting your God's name and asking for angels to occupy the closet and mentioning your God's blood and stuff. Like, it's weird. These guys, it's weird. You're religious. You're weird. You're everything about your ideology is just bizarre. I don't know. I want people to understand like how bizarre all of this is, because I think you're seeing it like Jesus' blood, Jesus' name, angels coming in this closet, the devil, you can't be here. I think we've heard these things so much that we're like, yeah, this is a Christian thing. But like, imagine if you've never heard these things before and you just saw people act like this. It's completely insane. It's cuckoo. It's batshit crazy. Like the fact that people think this is like rational. It's unbelievable. Like, how are we still here? Like, we should have like progressed out of this 1,000 years ago, at least 1,000 years ago. I don't know how we're still here. Anyways, but I want to see some of this. Do you have something to say? Because Dee have found some comments.
Oh yeah, Dee always finds very good comments on social media. Let's go through some of these.
Remind me always, because sometimes I forget that we need to highlight these, because these are some good comments. Okay, go read.
Yeah, so one person reacted to this on Twitter saying, so in Jesus' name are like magic words then? Yes.
Yeah.
You don't know this, guys? Another one said, I also want to get paid for talking nonsense to myself aloud in an empty room.
Yeah. In Jesus' name is kind of like abracadabra or something like that. Yeah.
It's almost what's the spell in Harry Potter?
That will kill people.
Spell to like expel bad things from people's bodies. Expelliarmus or whatever.
Expelliarmus? Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that. It's basically that.
Yeah. Okay. What is this one?
It's really easy to take money from stupid religious bigots. It is. In fact, this person in our live chat just said, bro got the angels working 9 to 5 for $5 a day.
Hey, I like this guy's jokes. That's good.
So funny.
Oh, that was good. Okay.
I think it's important to highlight because we're kind of going through like a little bit of a satanic panic here in the US, and people need to understand that this isn't a joke. Like, this is a real thing to people when they talk about like this being Satan and demonic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
GJ has a super chat regarding calling yourself an atheist.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, GJ. He's saying, I don't call myself an atheist because I'm not sure there aren't any deities in the entire uni/multiverse. Plus, agnostic focuses on facts, not faith. Hey, well, you do you.
Well, here's the problem with what you're saying. Okay, so you're still an atheist because you don't believe in gods. You're not claiming that there are no gods. You don't believe. You lack belief in God. So just because you lack a belief that there is a God, that's enough to make you an atheist. You don't need to go the extra step to claim that there is no God. So you are an atheist, and you are also an agnostic. You're an agnostic atheist. The reason why we encourage people, and you don't have to if you're not comfortable with it, but the reason why we encourage people to use because I'm also an agnostic atheist, right? But it's useless. It's useless to call myself an agnostic, because agnostic, we are trying to normalize the labels that people are using to, be bigoted towards people, to prosecute people, to oppress people, to demonize people, to ostracize people, to isolate people. They're not doing that with agnosticism.
It's not stigmatized.
It's not stigmatized. So we are trying to tell people to use the label on yourself that is being stigmatized, because that is the label that needs normalization. That is the viewpoint or lack thereof that needs normalization. Agnosticism doesn't need normalization. It's not as demonized, right? So if I am a skeptic, I am an agnostic, I am an atheist, I am a humanist, I'm a secularist, but which one of these labels is the most demonized? It's the atheist one. So that's the one I will choose, even though I am all of those other things. Anyways. Yes. But by the way, some people are against labels. Okay? That is also, I think, stupid. Every single word that is coming out of your mouth is a label. Labels have utility. Okay? I think what you have a problem
code
with
in which we understand our physical reality.
Yeah, exactly. You said it better. I'm not going to add to that. That was perfect.
That's kind of funny for you to say that coming from a gender abolitionist. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I can't open that can of worms.
No. I first of all, labels have utility, including abolishing some of them has also utility, right?
Sure.
Here, yeah. Also, the utility. I'm not a gender abolitionist, as in I would say that the gender labels don't have any utility today. I would be against anybody who's advocating for that to happen right now. But as we progress, I think that will eventually happen, whether we want it or not.
No, I know that's your position. I was just poking fun at you.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. Can we? Oh, here's a good in between for people who don't want to be a gender abolitionist.
Gender
I'm a
role
gender
abolitionist.
role
Great.
abolitionist.
I can get behind that.
What is this guy's name? I like the takes and jokes, everything. I like it.
Abijanu.
Abijanu. Okay, let's remember. Yeah, your comments are very welcomed here, Abijanu, because I like. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so funny. Disney, try describing someone without labels. There's this old comedy skit from maybe 10, 15 years ago in the US, and it's about a white person they're at a store, and they're like, "Oh, did anyone at the store help you today?" And she turns around to look at the sales associate that helped her, and it was like the only black woman working there. And it's the white person trying to identify the person that helped her without saying that she was black. Because they're like not trying to make it a race thing. And she had brown hair, and all the other sales associates do too. And he's like, okay. And it's curly, and everyone else is brown curly. but
wait, send me that video. That's funny.
This typical American racial nonsense. We have some weird racial hangups in this country, obviously.
Oh, by the way, easier way to refer Abby.
Just call me Abby. Well, hi, Abby. Thank you for joining us today. Okay. So we can go to the next news.
Okay. Next news. Shocking truth. How the left failed Iran. A must-watch speech by me. So...
Guys, during March, I was asked to give a speech by the Humanist Society of Santa Barbara, and they wanted me in honor of Women's Month to talk about what women and Iranians in general are fighting against, right? Talk about the Iranian Revolution. And I'm excited to share that actually recently, if you missed seeing my speech live, you can actually watch a recording of it now on YouTube, because I know there were a lot of people that wanted to see it that couldn't make it, right? And so, Armin, please bring it up. So, and I will also put a link in the live chat if you guys want to watch. And yeah, check it out. Yeah, if you want to just Google it, it's just like The Great Betrayal: How Western Left-Leaning People Have Failed Iran. And I loved giving this speech. If you like to see me go on a rant, this is me going on a rant for like 45 minutes straight. And I'm always really, really thankful to the Humanist Society of Santa Barbara. They have always been giant supporters of Atheist Republic. So when they ask for support from me, I am more than happy to give it to them. And I got a really amazing response from giving this speech. And so now if you missed it, you can go see this. And Armin, like, did you have a highlight from my speech? What was your favorite part?
I loved your passion. I love the parts that you almost cried. It just shows how much you care. I love the amount of detailed information. I don't know if there's anybody that is not Iranian and has the level of deep information that you have about this topic. I'm not exaggerating. I don't think it exists. Okay. I loved your analysis. I think a lot of people from Iran would be shocked. I loved your takes. Your takes were based. So I think you're the best person to give this speech, because you have enough information about Iran, and also you have a lot of information about the situation among, the cultural relativism that exists, and the bigotry of lower expectations that exists among many people, many left-leaning people in the West. And the combination of those information that you had makes that you the best person to give this speech. So I think you're an asset that needs to be discovered by more people, because you are. No, seriously, I don't think like these takes can come from. I was so impressed. I follow Iranian news all the time, and even I learned a few things that I didn't know about. Like, you brought up points that I did not know. Like, I learned from you certain things about the revolution.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Armin.
So I think more people need to. I think more people need to discover you as an asset, as an activist, and bring use you more, and bring you more, invite you more. Again, the level of deep, the level of passion and deep analysis that you have. It's unmatched among within both the atheist community, and also when it comes to activism for Iran. And it's just such a great combination. And also to just the positions that you have when it comes to the nuanced positions that you have when it comes to making sure that we are tolerant of people, but also standing our ground when it comes to bad ideas. I think it's just I think it's such a waste if you don't become famous in this movement. So...
Oh my God. Mandela, my whole heart. Oh my God.
So guys, go make sure you watch this, because it was really good. It was really good analysis, right? I learned so much from watching this, and I think more people need to go watch this. If you want to learn and at the same time be emotionally destroyed.
Don't say it like that. People aren't going to want to do that.
No, because it's important. If you want to see the level of passion somebody could have for people in the world, if you want it to be touched, and learn at the same time, go watch this speech, because it was one of the best I've ever seen.
Oh my God. Oh, you just made my whole heart explode. You're so nice to me.
No.
Okay, well, guys, this is a plug. Go watch my speech if you're interested. You can learn a lot, and I put a link in the live chat. Go check it out.
And also, when you go watch it, make sure you like comment there about the things that you liked about the speech, so that the people who invited Susanna, they could see that, you know, to invite her again and encourage her to do these things. Because and also, guys, if you know places that you think Susanna would be a good for a place for Susanna to go speak at, to invite her, you know, just like on a Zoom call or something, please like let them know. Maybe send them this video and tell them like, listen, this, if you want to know about these topics, you need to invite Susanna. Okay, you need to invite Susanna. Yeah. And just also I also want you to know that there are many people within the atheist Iranian community, the secular Iranian community, that celebrate Susanna. So it's not like the entire team of the Atheist Republic, the Persian team of the Atheist Republic, they really celebrate her. So it's not just like this Westerner that is just talking about, separate from the Iranian people that is talking about this. She is part of that community now. So I just wanted to also let you know that. Oh, look, see here.
Yeah, they're like my
one
biggest supporters. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The Persian side of AR, they go so hard for me. I'm like, oh, these people are the best.
Sina, which is also from the community, just gave us
merci. Saint Susanna number 1.
$10 super chat. Thank you so much for
Thank you for the super chat.
Oh, that was sweet. Okay, so let's get to our last news, right?
Okay, so this is just an idea I had because it is the last weekend of Pride. That is the time where we usually do the biggest Pride parades, and I wanted to revisit something that was very important in our community. And by the way, guys, if you've been having a good time today, please make sure to like this stream, because I've been having a blast, even though I only got 3 hours of sleep. And anyways, so I wanted to watch an iconic Armin Navabi video. And this is one of the reasons, like, why I love Armin. This is one of the first videos I saw before I ever met Armin that left such an impression on me. And I love this video so much because I think you do such a good job of articulating what we stand for on so many different levels, when it comes to acceptance, when it comes to our values, when it comes to free expression and hope. And so guys, yes, Zaid, you guessed it. It is the Allah is gay video. Okay, guys. So let's do a little, recollection. Let's watch Allah is gay.
It's a fictional character. You can make it whatever you want.
All right, I take it.
Yeah.
Allah is gay. You have a point.
Allah is gay.
That's amazing. I love it.
I love you, bro.
Thank you.
Look at you.
A lot of people ask, why are we doing this? The most simple response is that we're just trying to break a taboo. There's nothing wrong with being gay, so why should this be offensive?
Yes. Yes. Allah's gay, baby.
I love you for doing this. Inshallah.
I actually kind of expected most people to be very supportive in Vancouver, and that was the case. I can't even count the number of people that were supportive, which is very nice. I think we just had like 2 negative reactions.
What's this?
It's a sign.
What's the fucking sign? You're crazy or what?
What's wrong?
We don't know halal or not halal anyway. Forget about it.
You're not allowed to do this.
What? It's a free country.
Yeah, it's free, but it offends lots of people. Why is it right?
Why is it wrong?
I think he is the bravest person here.
It's a bold statement.
This seems like a very simple thing to do here, and it is. There's not that much consequences for us saying something like this, Allah is gay here. But this is punishable by death in many countries. We just want to show to them, if they're watching, that there are places where you could get away with saying stuff like this and nothing can happen to you, and give them hope. Give them hope that if we can get away without a death penalty or imprisonment in a country like this, and not only be free to say it, we could show you how much positive support we got from people. There is hope for your country. Love has to win, not just here, but everywhere.
Hi, I just wanted to say I love what you just wrote down.
Oh.
It's so wonderful to see that, and I'm also from a Muslim family.
Oh, thank you so much for the support.
That's amazing.
So cute. Yay! Oh my god, that video makes
Yep.
me so happy, and like it just really, I don't know, it's just everything to me. I think one of the funniest part of that video to me, Armin, is when there's a guy who's like, "That's a bold statement," and he literally has like a black dildo strapped to his forehead. A man with a dildo on his forehead is like, "What's a bold statement?" Oh
That's
my
funny.
god, so funny.
Oh my god,
I
that
wanted to
brings back
highlight some of
memories.
the comments. Young Atheist is saying, "Love this, Armin. Thanks for doing this. You are amazing."
No.
Zaid saying, "I love this so much." Seek the Truth is saying, "Jesus is gay too." And this is so sweet. Wow.
Yeah.
I love this one. Oh, John is saying, "This makes me cry because it's so sweet." Thank you, Armin. Oh. Yeah. When you see the reactions that you get from this, what do you think?
I don't want to speak right now, but yeah, I mean.
Oh.
Anyways, that's good. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Means a lot to me.
Yeah. Is it, I don't know, like interesting to think back on, that was like a few years ago.
Yeah. I just want people to remember that there are so many people that have paid such heavy prices for just the simple freedoms that we're enjoying today. Like, I can't even start to explain to you how hard it is for people. And this might just seem like a just a fun thing to do, but it's about so much more. I just want people to understand how lucky they are if they're free. And it's not enough. It's not enough just to celebrate the freedoms and rights you have. It's not over until it's all over the world. It's not over until it's the entire planet.
Oh, you're making me so emotional. Oh my god. Yeah. Zaid is saying, "You don't know how much this means to me until you live in a Muslim country." I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah. Yeah. I think I have so many people that discovered your work because of that video, Armin. And they just tell me about how much of an impression it left on them. They couldn't believe it. So many people can't even comprehend to be doing something like that. And to not only be like safe, but to have people really like it and be open to it. Like you said, it's really powerful. And I think what stands out to me the most is what you say is like, we do this to give people hope. That like, you can have this too. Maybe one day your own country can have this. Maybe you can come to a different country where you can have this, but you can have hope too. And there are people
It might be
yeah.
it might be unimaginable, but things change in other countries really fast, faster than so many people imagine. So don't give up. Okay, the fight continues. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, we should go. I just want to also thank Mohammed Tariq for becoming a member. Thank you so much for your support. And guys, we need our channel to grow, so please don't forget to like, don't forget to leave a comment. And yeah, that's about it. And make sure you subscribe for next show. Sorry, I just want to I'm trying to move past that, too emotional. Oh my god. Okay, guys.
Thank you for
all right, thank you guys.
everyone. Make sure to tune in next week. We do this every week. We have a lot of fun, same time. And thank you for being a part of our community. We have a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah, we enjoy spending time with you guys every week here. All right, guys. See you soon. Happy Pride, everyone. See you on the next show.